I'm Alex.
And I'm Teddy.
And I'm Spencer.
And we are
The Button Mappers.
Hey, the Button Mappers.
Dude, you haven't been recording? Come on, Spencer. You gotta get with it.
Get with the program, bro.
I fear that people don't. If we don't tell everybody that we're recording, they I don't know. They get nervous.
Yes, because we've been revealing so much personal information this entire time.
Yeah. Well, Bio sent me his social security number. I didn't want that
affection.
on the video.
Yeah.
Wario.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
I live on Evergreen
Terrace.
Terrace.
Yeah.
Go.
Everyone, drop your social in the chat.
Just started
Your
doing.
credit card number and the 3 digits in the back.
Yeah, we'll start a new YouTube
Don't
trend.
forget expiration.
Yeah, drop your soch. Make sure to hit like, subscribe, drop your soch, and then ring the bell because we can get the videos every time we release new content.
This is the Real Game Awards. You award us games every time you give us your social.
Important part is your soch.
Yes.
Mine's 1.
Oh, it's an old joke.
What year was that?
BC.
1.
Brian's social security number is a line in a tablet somewhere.
No one can hack that.
yeah. Good luck.
Unhackable.
Teddy, are you hosting or who's in charge here?
Yeah. You want to host, Teddy?
Yeah, I'll host. We take a shot. No, I'm joking. Good night and welcome everyone to the annual Button Mappers Game Award show. Can I get some applause and some woohoo?
Yes.
Yeah. Woo!
It's 2023, year of the Button Mappers. Every year is the year of the Button Mappers, and it's great to be here. We got a lot of swell guests, hosts. We got 9 right now. I feel like I'm on the Brady Bunch. I'm Marsha, like looking up around and everything. All right, so we'll go ahead and get some introductions out of the way. First off, I am Teddy from the Button Mappers, and also my channel Majority. And let's have everyone else go ahead and just introduce who they are. What's your channel? I'll go from there.
Do you have an
Starting
order?
with who?
Whoever
Yeah.
wants, fight for it.
You're just gonna
Fight to the death.
all at once. Which no, okay. Well, I guess. I guess me and Spencer will go ahead and go because we're the other two guys. I'm Spencer from the Button. I'm just kidding. I'm Alex from the Button Mappers, and also Turbo Zone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm Spencer from RPG Archive, the Button Mappers. How's it going? Howdy. Chris.
All right, I guess I'll go. All right. Hello, everyone. This is BioPhoenix here. There you go. Fucking happy now.
Yes.
Yes.
I did the intro.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
Daniel.
All right. Yeah, I'm Daniel Santos from the channel Daniel Santos.
From myself.
I am from myself. Yes, it's accurate.
Justin.
Recording live in this body right here.
All right. Justin from the Legend of Leo channel. Riveting. I
Is
know.
he here? You got Leo?
Hey,
Doesn't matter.
I'm from Malta Master.
Excellent.
Ooh, Master of Maltas.
Tylord.
Hi, Tylord here from the Tylord channel.
Brian.
Tylord of
Oh.
Tylord of the clan Tylord.
Tylord Dynasty.
Yeah.
First of your name.
Yeah. Brian.
Brian, you muted.
Unmute your mic, please.
Unmute yourself.
Number 1.
I'm Brian from I Got Kings. Howdy, guys.
Deezy.
Yes, I'm DZ from the channel DZD. I
Hmm.
mainly talk about old internet personalities, but I also stream and talk about games. Really, just anything that I'm interested in.
Old internet personalities like Armic21.
Yeah.
Rest in
Rest in
peace.
peace. Yeah.
Yep, I remember him.
Yeah, I'm more like physical.
Wait, who? Ermic21? Who's that?
That
Army.
is
Mortal
21.
Kombat character.
he was one of the very first like YouTube video game reviewers. Like he basically when Angry Video Game Nerd made like a big splash, he was like one of the first people to like look at what James did and went, "He could do that too."
Yeah, he's one of the better ones in my opinion.
Yeah, he was one of the earlier like AVGN clones, and he actually did make like a following out of it. Yep.
He did.
And then he died?
Yeah, he died.
Yeah, he
year
passed
ago?
away pretty recently, actually.
Yeah,
like
January.
A few,
Yeah.
Oh wow.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, we may not be the first, but we are the best. Ladies and gentlemen at home listening, go check out every one of these striking, handsome lads. Subscribe, watch a video. You have my blessings.
They appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, the viewer will appreciate it because they've got now tons of great content to watch.
No, I mean your blessings.
Oh,
They
yes.
can now
God
enjoy
bless
all
you.
these hunks of man meat.
Your sneeze has not gone unnoticed. Eat up. Eat the man meat. All right, great. So, Alex, why don't you go ahead and tell the viewers about the Game Awards?
Welcome everybody
Mappers.
to the Button Mappers 2024 Game Awards. Guess what, Jeff Keighley? We can do it too. This is the what is this? The
Who's
third year?
Jeff?
Fourth? What fucking year is this? 4? I can't keep track anymore.
I think it's your third, according to what I saw.
Third. There we go. Third. I forget. Third year of doing the Button Mapper Game Awards. We all come together and we all present an award to a game that we played this year. It can be old. It can be new. As long as you played it in 2023, that's all that matters.
Thank you, Alex. So, with that
welcome.
being said, everyone will present their own unique awards. Would anybody like to go first?
Yeah.
Isn't this just like the best part?
Malta, does that mean that yes, somebody would or you would like to go first?
Was that a volunteer or was that a man?
Yeah.
Nah, man. I'll go in a moment. I'm just drying up my hair right now so I can be on camera and
Okay.
literally.
Wow. Malta's stepping
you
out of the
just-
shower.
Thank you.
It's making sure
You
that
smell
you're ready
really
for all
good,
the
Mary.
ladies. Moon.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I took a shower to do this, so you people should be thankful. Like, just give me some time, you know.
I mean,
What do
we
you
can
mean, you
smell you through the TV screen.
No, I'm just saying, like, just give me a moment. Like, I need some time. I'm trying to be the best I can.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want
Isn't
you
that
to
a
be
Rush
the very
song?
best, like no one ever was, and you already are. Well, we'll give you a moment, Malta. But for now,
A couple.
pass it to
I
Daniel.
have a okay, Daniel. Yeah,
Me?
yeah.
number
ahead.
one,
Go ahead,
real
buddy.
number one here. The first.
So my game of the year is Resident Evil 4 Remake. Yeah, see how everyone is nodding because they fucking know. They know. So Resident Evil 4, the original, is like one of my favorite games of all time. I've beaten it so many times. I beat the PS3 version, the PS4 version, the GameCube version. I beat the VR version. Like I beat the game so many fucking times. So I went into the remake with a lot of skepticism, and that skepticism was for nothing because the game fucking ruled. Like it did everything I think a remake should, where it retains the soul of the original, but it's also its own thing. It doesn't just like copy and paste everything from the original. It does add its own stuff. It has its own flair, but at the same time, a lot of the original is still there, which I greatly appreciated. I was a little concerned that they might dumb down some aspects of the gameplay. I thought it might be a little bit more like Resident Evil 2 remake. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was glad that it felt like a combination. Like it felt like it retained some of the stronger horror elements of 2, but still kept a lot of the camp and a lot of the silly shit from Resident Evil 4. And for me, that was perfect. It nailed it so well. I also really appreciate that Ashley was actually a likable character, because as much as I love the original, she sucked in the original game. She is very much a spoiled brat. I didn't I
was
didn't care
annoying.
at all. I didn't care at all about her character in the original. But in the remake, I was actually like, oh, I actually want to save her. She's actually a character. She's actually a character, period. She was barely a character in the original. So the writing in general was a lot better. Not that that was hard to do, because the original's writing was pretty stock. Like it was literally just an excuse for the gameplay. Kudos to them for actually taking that pretty bare bones story and injecting it with a little more like thought and meaning, while again still retaining the camp and the silly shit. Um, but yeah, Resident Evil 4 remake fucking rules. It looked great, it sounded great, it played great. I loved the way that the guns felt. I loved that they still retained all the martial arts abilities and stuff. Like, I love that they still retained shooting enemies in like specific areas will trigger different attacks, different melee attacks. Um, they still retained the upgrade system and even like switched it up a little bit. So, I mean, I feel like I could keep going, but like Resident Evil 4 remake, I feel like most of us here played it. We all know it. This game is excellent, and I think it's pretty easy to see why it's my game of the year. It's fucking incredible.
Out of
All right.
curiosity,
Hey, man,
who all
Daniel.
here has played it this year?
I unfortunately have not. I've been meaning to, but there've been a lot of games just coming out.
Yeah, funny enough, my friend literally gifted that game to me on my birthday, which was a couple
Oh,
days
nice.
ago. So
Nice.
I'm literally like in the middle of
Nice.
playing it.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
But yeah, no, I love it. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really impressive game to me because the original Resident Evil 4 is like a lightning in the bottle game. It's really hard. Like I was really skeptical going into the remake, and I walked out also just loving it. And we talked about it on the Button Mappers this year.
Yeah, I will at least say that it doesn't feel as important as the original game, but then again, I think that would have been impossible to replicate just because Resident Evil 4 went on to be such an influential title in ways that like you could still feel it today. And
Yep.
there's just no way that Resident Evil 4 remake could do that again. So just short of doing that, I feel like the game did everything nearly everything it possibly could have been to be a great remake, but also just a great game on its own. And I think that's the most important thing for a great remake, is that it needs to be both.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'd never actually even played
Yeah.
the original. So when I played the remake,
Mm.
I was really impressed, knowing obviously when the original came out just how influential it was. I was like seeing little bits of DNA just everywhere from modern gaming, and it was like, wow, it was way back here. Interesting. It was like because I played The Last of Us a lot. I really liked that, and it was just, I remember just even like just initially booting up 4 and be like, oh my god, this is The Last of Us. Holy shit, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's funny to think about, but like even just like the camera, like just the over the shoulder camera, that was, I don't know if it was necessarily invented by Resident Evil 4, but it was definitely the game where everyone looked at and went, we should be doing that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Like even the game Dead Space was originally supposed to be more so inspired by System Shock. And then Resident Evil 4 came out and the developers went, whoa, wait a minute. Fuck whatever we were doing. We need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great game too.
Yes. Dead Space is pretty great. You gotta agree with that.
All I needed was one person to tell me that the remake was solid, and it was Alex. He got it day one, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I'll download it right now." And then we all just decided to switch whatever we were doing for I don't even remember, Zombie Month or something, Capcom Month. And
Violence.
we just loved it so much. Oh, violence! But there you go.
What were we gonna
It was
do?
pretty violent.
Yeah, we okay. So this is tell you how much I love Resident Evil 4. We were gonna do No More Heroes 2,
Okay.
and then Teddy was like, "What if we do Resident Evil 4?" And I was like, "Normally I would be really mad in this situation, but this is the only situation where I'm like, this is fine. Like I'm cool with switching to Resident Evil 4 because it's such a fucking good game."
I've played the original so many times. It's ridiculous.
I gotta say though, like playing the VR version of RE4 is a crazy experience because I know that game so well. I know it so intimately.
Ooh.
So feeling like I was inside of it was like one of the weirdest sensations. I was just like, I'm like looking at the model of like the handgun. And I'm like, I could see it like right here. It was crazy.
I haven't gotten to do that yet, but man, yeah, I also because that's the original 4 is the game that got me into the series, so like I know that game like the back of my hand. So, yeah,
big same. Yeah,
put me in the game.
I liked it so much too. I liked it so much that I think maybe it was me or maybe just collaboratively, I pushed for us to do another Resident Evil remake this year. So we ended up doing Resident Evil 2 this year as well, like not too long after that.
Yeah.
It's just it was so good, and I didn't know like because like what can they really improve Resident Evil 4? And it really did feel like they did. Like I don't know if I would play the original again after playing the remake.
I feel like I love the original so much. I would still go back and play it. I feel like because I feel like what makes the remake good is I don't think it invalidates the original. I just feel like it's a different enough experience that it still feels like its own thing, even though it's very obviously a remake. It still feels like its own experience. I don't feel like
tweaks.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like the Odin Sphere remake where it feels like it effectively replaces the PS2 version. Like I don't think there's any reason to go back to the PS2 version. But with Resident Evil 4 remake, I don't think that's the case.
Yeah,
but I could
Daniel,
go ahead.
Don't you feel like it's like a totally different game? Like maybe there was a source material. It's like two different adaptations of the same thing, but they're different games. You kind of feel like that because it feels to me like a totally different game, like based on that game.
Kind of. I mean, it's definitely it. Like I said before, it's what's important is that it retained the spirit of the original.
Yeah.
But it feels like its own thing. Like it's its own game. So I think that's the ideal situation.
Yeah, the first one's worth going back to though if you guys haven't played it.
Yes, absolutely.
TEs pushing A for a boulder.
I don't want to interrupt the Resident Evil 4 talk, but I just want to say I just thought about it, and this is Game Awards 4. I was right. I was thinking about my other Game Award picks, and I was like, I did Power Rangers, I did No More Heroes, I did Sonic. So this is 4, damn it. Leo, you lying to me.
Yet another
my first one. You shouldn't have taken my word for it.
Yet another instance of Alex interrupting the podcast to give us boring and uninteresting information.
Exposition.
My podcast.
It's mine.
It's the Alex show.
Yeah.
I was wrong. The Alex Awards.
It's the Alex show.
Award. That one sucks.
Yeah.
We're gonna give it to Power Rangers. Thank you. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, thanks. That's good.
Thanks.
Yeah, Daniel, who's going next? I want the person that presents to pick the next person.
Oh, okay. BioPhoenix, go for it.
Damn.
All right.
Yep.
All right, the cool shit. Thank you. All right. This was a tough year for me to pick a game because even though I haven't played a lot this year, there was a lot of interestingly good ones, and I'm
year.
still yeah. Fuck. And then the fact too is that like I there's a lot of like games that came out this year that I still haven't even like gotten around to, which is like absolutely nutty. But one game I will mention, and this is a game I actually did purchase a couple weeks ago, and this is another game that also came out this year. It's a smaller title, but it's one that I played for a bit, and I was like, yeah, this is really really fun. I dig this. So the game I'm talking about is called Air Twister. And yeah, I know you probably think of the name, it's like Air Twister. That's like the most generic shit name ever. And but here's the interesting thing with this game is that it was actually made by Yu Suzuki, you know, the Shenmue guy. And I know even with that, it's like kind of weird given the whole shit with Shenmue 3. But honestly, I think he redeemed himself with this game. I think it's actually really fun. So basically what it is that it's a rail shooter similar to like Panzer Dragoon, Star Fox, or I know that another one that a lot of people compare it to is like Space Harrier. So yeah, so it's like a game where you play as this female chick and you like shoot at a bunch of stuff on the screen, you know. It's very easy to pick up and play and all that kind of fun stuff, and the music is like amazing. Like if I can compare it to anything, it's like a mixture of like the music in Nier meets like Queen. Yeah, it's really really interesting.
What?
And, yeah, yeah, it's really cool. Really cool
I
OST.
think Queen sucks.
Oh well, fuck
So,
you
so
too.
thank,
up.
no,
Shut up.
nice to know that the game has a shitty soundtrack.
Shut up. Get out of here.
No, I'm just letting you know. I'm trying to help you out. Like,
Garbage
I know.
take. Garbage take.
Yeah,
Is it new metal, Malta?
yeah, you gotta admit it's better
Guys,
than nu
can
metal. You gotta admit.
That is one of the most catastrophically garbage takes I've ever heard. Get out of here.
Yeah, no,
Bio.
Queen's great. Well, anyways, enough about that. But yeah, no, yeah, it has a really interesting OST. The graphics are interesting, where that it like it looks like a PS2 game, but I like the aesthetics where it has like a very like dreamy atmosphere. Like a lot of it's like kind of like psychedelic too. Like there's actually like a boss in the game where it's literally like a giant clock tower that shoots gears at you. It's so like
Nice.
weird and trippy like that. And yeah, it came out this year on PC, and it also does. I think the console release like came out like a couple days ago, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly, but I know it like came out like it's still very new. But yeah, and the thing that's also cool about this game too is that even though it only has like 12 stages in the game, there's a lot of like different content to the game. Like there's like a boss rush mode. There's this like special other mode that I forget like what it does because I haven't really like messed around with it much. But I know it also has a like a lot of unlockables that you can get. You can you have like a sort of skill tree where you can purchase like, well, of course when I mean purchase like in-game currency, where you can purchase new like stuff for your character to like change like the outfits. You can change like different like pieces of your character. Pretty cool. Like there's a lot of replay value to the game for such a genre that's like very simple. And yeah, like I thought it was a good surprise. Like I bought it because I just thought it looked cool, and I was like, oh, okay, like this looks like a pretty cool game and all that. And yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with it. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of for this game for now. But I was pretty happy with it.
Is it a little bit cheaper? Do you remember how much you paid?
Okay, I think over here in Canada, I think it's like $30. Like that's like the full price of it. But I think in US that'd be about like 25. I think.
Is that like it's an indie game, right?
Yeah, it's indie game. Yeah. I think the company that made it was okay, the company that made it is called EastNet, which has nothing to do with the East games. Because yeah, literally the company name is literally spelled YSNet.
That's pretty funny.
Oh wow! I was saying here it was released first on Apple Arcade of last year. No wonder I haven't heard of it.
Oh, for real? I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of the game's release, but it looks like something that I would probably enjoy.
Yeah,
it sounds really cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
Yeah.
What is Yu Suzuki's impact on it exactly?
Well, I think it's the fact that because like Yu Suzuki back in the day, he made like the arcade games like Super Hang On. He made he made Space Harrier, right?
Yeah, he made Space Harrier.
Yeah.
And look, Teddy, it says he created this game, so that was his impact, right?
What's his game? Well, I just
Yeah,
didn't know.
it's
Like,
his.
is he the developer? Okay, got it.
His impact was
it's his.
was direct and firm.
But yeah, I can definitely say, like, after like
sat
the
on
shit
it.
that he tried to do with Shenmue, yeah, this was definitely like I think he redeemed himself pretty well. And that's the thing. I think Shenmue was just such a like big, like ambitious game to tackle. And I feel like now that like he had to like backtrack and go to like something more simplistic, I think this was like a good approach with that.
You could make that argument for Shenmue anyway. That like,
Wait,
they were
what?
like that they were all like he really thrived with the smaller games rather than Shenmue.
Oh,
Even coming back and doing, like,
no,
Shenmue
I
3.
agree with that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you like all the older Sega stuff, I think you'd like it.
Who? Seg what?
No. Segway.
I think a lot of people
twisting our air.
I think a lot of people miss like old school Sega. So.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I know Spencer does.
But good news if you've seen the Game Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that. Trust me.
Pretty cool.
I like
pretty cool.
it was like immaculate timing. I was like sitting down, I had made dinner, and I was like, oh yeah, the Game Awards are on. I might as well see what's going on. And I tune in midway through that fucking Sega commercial where they're like 5 games are coming, and I was like, what's happening?
Damn.
They knew you were watching.
Yeah, it's like quick, he's tuning in. Play this again.
What is it? 5 Sega games? Was it in a pack that cost $5?
Yeah, they announced new entries in 5 series. They're doing Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Shinobi, Jet Set Radio, and Crazy Taxi, and they showed footage for each one.
Oh man, I can't wait to not play those. All right, who's going next, Bio?
I want Leo to go next.
All
Nice.
right. You guys are in the mood for something basic, I see. You got it. So, no Resident Evil 4 remake, no game that nobody's ever heard of. My game of the year for 2023, also a game that I played this year, is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So good, in fact, that it's probably become my favorite game of all time. Not necessarily the most memorable, but guys, I haven't gotten lost in a game like this where it incentivizes you just enough so you feel like you are adequately rewarded for doing nothing. And by nothing, I'm mostly alluding to the Korok seeds that I spent so much time collecting. So since everybody kind of knows what the game is like, I may as well walk you through it a little differently. And I'll focus, I guess, on my experiences with the early portions of the game. And when I realized that I was getting hooked on it and that I was liking the game as much as I did. So with Breath of the Wild, the tutorial area is this great plateau, and you go to these different shrines, and you get your first abilities. It's a little disappointing at first that you have fewer abilities or items in your inventory compared to previous games, but they end up letting you do some crazy things on the map, so it's okay. Here's the Kingdom, starts out much the same way, but this Ultra Hand ability, or you take different things on the map and you glue them together in certain ways. I didn't know that it was going to work as well as it did. And so, it starts you off very simply, laying some obvious things out in front of you. Here are a couple logs, here's a couple planks, go put them together, see what you can do. And even the bare bones stuff, even the bare bones assemblies are so satisfying because you're just watching them glide smoothly along a little cable that they set up, kind of like to make your own cable car. You test it out on water. Oh, how's it going to work? How do the fans work in this game? Well, the fans work great. You've got a functioning motorboat. So just trying out all these different things in their simplest forms was really fun to start out. And it made, again, there's the feeling that the tutorial area is basically its own game. And you realize, there's still like 90% of the game remaining. So that's going to be fun. And then the other thing that I really enjoyed about it were that this game, since it was look, I thought Breath of the Wild was going to be the way to get everyone back into Zelda. After Skyward Sword was overall pretty underwhelming. I think most people can say that, and the sales would indicate that as well. I thought the Breath of the Wild would be, hey, everybody come back. We're doing Zelda properly. Don't worry, we got you covered. And it didn't really have a lot of references to the series as a whole. It didn't have a lot of references to the older games. So actually something that we've talked about recently is where do you see some of the Zelda 1 bosses? Where do you see some of the Ocarina of Time things? And Tears of the Kingdom, it kept on throwing them at me. They're designed a little bit differently in some instances, like rather than going into a grotto, like in, I think, Minish Cap and Ocarina of Time, in this instance, you go into a hollow or you go into the base of a mountain and you can drop down even further. And the decoration and the ambience down there makes you feel like you're back in the grotto, but this is how they would have done it if they had the technology back in the day. And I've mentioned familiar enemies before. We get the likes again. Little things that you wonder, why weren't these in Breath of the Wild? But you appreciate the fact that they're here in Tears of the Kingdom. So that's what it was for me. It was one of the craziest games as far as just being able to break a game. And I've mentioned also, it's not like you have to play with Ultra Hand as your main ability. It's just something that facilitates a lot of your adventuring. But if you want to ignore it, the game gives you plenty of other things that you could use. And I'm not even touching on the fusion ability, but fusing different parts to your arrows and to your weapons was a lot of fun. You guys saw maybe that I made some combat videos on my channel when I was playing with the game, and like some of those combat videos I started on day one. I had just gotten my hands on the game, and it's just, you feel like being creative when you're fighting a boss. And a lot of people criticized also Breath of the Wild, where it's like, well, you don't have to fight like that. Well, you don't have to switch to your elemental weapon. And true, if you really just do 4 hits with a basic weapon, whatever you're facing is going to die no matter what. So there's a little bit more of a necessity to use some elemental weapons or some different strategies and tactics in Tears of the Kingdom that also makes combat more fun there. And I think I can put a cap on it for now because, like I said, everybody knows Tears of the Kingdom. So hopefully that little session there, or you let me gush profusely about the game, is good enough.
I'd say so. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of it.
I only did a dozen videos on the game on my channel, so what do you want?
What do you want?
They brought back the Gleeok, right, from Zelda 1, the first boss you fight. That's cool.
Yeah, Gleeoks are a main feature, and it's fun experiencing them in different environments. Without saying too much, they're elemental Gleeoks, and you can face them in a variety of environments.
I find it interesting, though, that you said that people were trying to criticize Breath of the Wild, saying like, "Oh, you don't have to do all this stuff." I think the game would suck if it forced you to do all those crazy tricks because most people wouldn't know how to do them. So if there was that expectation built into the game, then that would be the game wouldn't do nearly as well. The fact that you can do this stuff on your own if you want to, if you figure it out, I think is a positive, not a negative.
Yeah, and without spending too long on a tangent, this is where it's like, well, what do you want from an action game? Do you want it to, like, should the system be based on strengths and weaknesses and status effects or something else? And Zelda's never forced you to use any of those things. Tears of the Kingdom has a few more enemy weaknesses, which we've actually seen in some of the previous games, right? In different ways, like Stalfos, depending on what game you're fighting them in. It's a little bit of a blocking mini game in Skyward Sword, or it's just basic timings in Ocarina of Time. So Tears of the Kingdom tries to implement a few things to make it less stale, but nothing mandatory. I think you can still brute force a lot of enemy battles.
It kind of reminds
One
me of Devil May
statement
Cry.
you made. You go, Daniel.
No, I was just gonna say the argument kind of reminds me of Devil May Cry, in that like you technically don't have to pull off crazy combos if you don't want to, but you're kind of missing the point of the game if you're playing it too straightforwardly, right? Like if you're just using the basic combos to beat the game, you're not really getting what makes that game good. And I think it's kind of a similar situation with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where you can brute force things if you want, but part of what makes those games fun is being creative and coming up with creative solutions and kind of like attaching two weapons that are not supposed to, and then throwing it somewhere, and then like it creates this chain reaction or whatever. Like that was totally unintended by the developers. That's the sort of thing that makes the game enjoyable.
Yeah,
So
more so for sure in tiers with fusions, because yeah, you don't have to go crazy with the fusions, but it's a lot of fun. It's really satisfying when you do experiment. Yeah, Teddy.
yeah, what were you
You
gonna say?
said
Tony?
Breath of the Wild was like Return to Zelda proper. Prior to Breath of the Wild, what do you think the most recent proper Zelda was?
I don't know, Twilight Princess. Like, just whatever came before Skyward Sword. Look,
Anything
Skyward
before
Sword was just
Skyward.
kind of the black sheep of the family.
What
Skyward
about
Sword is
I see Twilight as like almost like not proper. Like it feels like it's supposed to be the proper Zelda, but then I don't think it landed.
Landed
What
for
about
me.
A Link Between Worlds on 3DS?
I haven't played it yet. Next year.
Ah,
The
you're
game of the
Yeah,
year
that's a great
2024.
game. Yeah, I think you'll
you're
love
doing
that one.
yourself a disservice. You need to play it. That's one of my all-time favorite Zelda games by far.
Mm,
Yeah.
all right.
I don't know. Tears of the Kingdom is weird because on paper it should have just been. I should have blown me away because like I really liked Breath of the Wild. Maybe I was just a little bit overwhelmed by Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like Breath of the Wild was like a really good balance for what I liked, and then Tears just had it was throwing so much at me, and I've noticed that in my old age because I'm kind of an old person. Like I remember playing a slight detour, but I played Cyberpunk back when it came out. Sorry for the jarring effect. And I remember I quit early, not because of any technical issues or anything like that. It all worked fine for me, but it was just at a point it was trying to teach me stealth mechanics. And and I didn't know if I had to use stealth or anything through the game or anything, but I got to a certain point where it was like hold the R button and then press B and then wait for a timer and then press A, then B. And it was like I was like my elderly thing kicked in and I'm like I can't do this. Like I literally this is impossible for me. There's no way I would play a game where this was like the thing that I had to do. And so I just put it down and never picked it back up. And I'm sure it's a great game, Cyberpunk specifically. I'm sure it's great or whatever. But I kind of had the same thing with this game where it was, I played it for a lot longer than Cyberpunk. I probably put in like 15 hours or something. And I had fun with it. But it just got to a point where it was like, you should build a thing that has a bunch of wheels and like 3 different engines on it. And I was like just doing the arithmetic in my head of like having to build that. And I think at a certain point I was just like, nah. And then I just put it down. And it's nothing against the game. I think it's a great game. It's just it might be a little bit too much for me. And I think it might be for a younger generation that would appreciate it more. So props to it because it sold like crazy. So good for them. But I don't know. It's just something about it just didn't click with me. But I'm glad that you really liked it. And I like it too. I had a great time for the time I played with it, so I don't regret it at all.
You had a good time with your weekend rental, the whopping 15 hours.
If Blockbuster was a thing, that would have been perfect. I could have just gone there and I would have had a perfect experience with that game.
Yeah.
Oh man, remember Blockbuster?
I do.
Fond memories of waiting in line and getting a box of Raisinets.
Yeah.
$5, which would have been like $2 now. Or back then.
Alrighty. Next, we're going to Brian. Old school.
Okay.
Oof. Take us back to school.
Okay. Okay, so I beat a lot of games this year. I beat 84, but most of them were older.
Right.
So they're older, so they're shorter. But one game stands above them all when I looked at it, and I'm going to share my screen, and it'll do more justice if I just do it here.
Oh, wow. Fancy.
Okay, cool.
Presentation,
value.
Google Slides.
Brian makes a PowerPoint.
And that game is Rocket Knight Adventure for the Sega Genesis.
Whoa.
This was released in 1993 by Konami. During the time, Konami did not develop a lot for the Genesis because Super Nintendo was out, and I don't know if there was a licensing thing or whatever. But this is their fourth game after Turtles, Hyperstone Heist, Buster's Hidden Treasure, and Sunset Riders. It was developed, like I said, in 1993 by I like this guy's games. His name, I'm going to butcher it. His name is, oh God, Nobuya Nakasato. If you don't know this guy's name, you'll know his works that he worked on for Konami. Contra 3, The Alien Wars. Later, he did Contra Hardcore, Contra Shattered Soldier, Neo Contra, Contra 4 he helped out with. But those are some heavy hitting Genesis games. And this is one of the most beautiful looking, beautiful sounding, diverse gameplay playing platformers I've ever played. You play as an opossum by the name of Sparkster, and you see him there on the screen. And he has a unique play style in that you swing with your A button, and he does a little sword slash that shoots a little circular beam of fire. If you hold down that button, you have a charge meter at the top underneath your hearts, which are your life, and you see how you have a generous health bar. When that's full, you release it, and you'll shoot across the screen like a ping pong ball. So there's parts in the stages where you have to shoot and angle yourself to get over obstacles, and that comes into effect. Or you can jump and use it to shoot super high in the air or shoot across gaps. You also hold it and you just let it go while you stand in place, and you do it like a spinning kind of circular slash like I just did on the screen there. And while you do that, you have iframes and you're invincible, and it does a ton of damage. So you can also hang upside down like an opossum. It's really cute. The animation on this guy is amazing. It's one of the most beautiful Genesis games I've ever played. It's a hard game, so much in fact that the American version, like a lot of games, was made much harder. So to give you an idea of the change in difficulty, let me see. I have it here. There's 3 modes of difficulty, or 4 modes of difficulty: child's, easy, normal, hard, and crazy hard. So children mode on the NES game is normal mode, or children mode on the Genesis game is normal mode on the Japanese. Normal mode, or easy mode on the Super or Genesis game is it would be hard on the Genesis or the Japanese, and then normal is like crazy hard on the Genesis version. So they bumped basically whatever was the Genesis or the Japanese version. It's like bumped up for the one step for the North American version. You can see here the different play styles. The second level, you jump into like a shooter stage where you're shooting your beam and you hit these pigs. And the story, there's not much to it, but there are interesting characters. You're a possum named Sparkster. You trained with a master. The master was injured by Axel Gear, another possum knight who went rogue. He wants to take over the kingdom, and there's a king, like a king there, who is also has a daughter, and he kidnaps her. And the main bad guy is a big pig, and he is helping Axel do this. And later in the game, you get to fight Axel, and he has the same kind of moves as you. So it's kind of like a mirror match. Like think of Zelda 2 when you're fighting yourself, your evil self, or games where you fight yourself is really cool. But the game has so many like unique play styles. Like 1 minute you're like just going through like a normal platforming stage with like these pigs on like tanks running at you. Next you're like flying through the air with your rocket pack and a shooter. Next you're in like a building that's on fire and shooting like fire at you. And next maybe you're jumping through this cool like effect with a mirror lake, almost like Bloodlines, where you see like below you like a reflection, Castlevania Bloodlines. And then next maybe you're riding this giant chicken robot. And next, like maybe you're fighting like one of the stages, the penultimate stage, you're like fighting Axel Gear finally in this big robot mech, and you have to escape from him. Really cool.
Brian, real quick, Tyler, could you please mute? It's just we're getting some feedback.
I did it. I
Okay.
muted Tylord for a second. Tyler, I'm sorry. Just I can't tell who's the
Okay.
feedback coming from. I think it might be you.
Cool. It's all good though.
I thought I did.
Well,
I muted him, you fools.
well, I can
Both
see
pressed
it.
mute.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're good. You're good, Tyler. Thank you. Brian, go ahead.
Really cool game. I mean, it speaks for itself. Really hard though. I mean, to beat this game on normal took me many tries. I had to start on children's, and you can't get the true ending on children's. It ends at like a few stages before. So then even beating it on easy was hard. But each time I got further and further, it was more gratifying. And I finally beat it on normal, and it was very very exciting. This is a game. Once you know, you could probably blast through it more easily. But it's like the older games, you know, you learn it, get better at it. It's very fulfilling that way. And if you like platformers, 16-bit platformers, this is one of the best and Genesis games I've played, and one of the best 16-bit platformers of that era. And it's by, you know, Konami, which I don't know if there's a way to get it today, unfortunately, without getting it through other means. But if you have a chance, give it a try. Even if you don't like it, just to see the graphics and see the music and the animation, it's well worth it, I think, to try it however you can. And that's my game of the year.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Looks
I
good.
loved that game as a kid. It took me so long to get past the first stage because I didn't know how to properly use the boost. But when I finally got through it, it was an experience. It was tough. I don't think I've ever beaten it. I've gotten really far in it, but yeah, it's a beautiful game. It's a shame they never were able to really bring it back. Like they tried the 360 game, and it was just not good.
Yeah, it's very hard, but it's very gratifying when you can make a little bit farther each time, a little bit farther each time. But yeah, it's very difficult, but it's just something about it. It's just so addicting.
So I thought it was really interesting. You were talking about the difference between the difficulties of the overseas version compared to the Japanese version. They did the exact same thing in the exact same way that you described with Devil May Cry 3.
Yep.
Which I thought was pretty funny. I also wanted to ask because I know there's a sequel called Sparkster, but I noticed that the none of the games that you mentioned that this guy worked on were any of the either the Super Nintendo or Genesis versions of Sparkster.
Well, I listed the Genesis. Well, yeah, I don't think he did. I think this was by the other team. So I think Sparkster was by a completely different group. I'm not 100% sure, but they wanted to port the original. They wanted to port the original Rocket Knight over, but they decided to make it like a different game itself. So there's two Sparksters, one for the Genesis and one for the Super Nintendo. They're different games, but they're both called Sparkster. The Genesis one is Sparkster subtitle Rocket Knight Adventure 2, and the Super Nintendo one is just part Sparkster. They're different. The Super Nintendo one, you have like this dash with spin. It makes the game like pretty quick. But they're both worth it. But the first one is definitely my favorite of the three.
I've generally heard that the first game is the best one. I also wanted to bring up real quick. Have you ever heard of a game called Cyber Shadow?
Yes.
That. Yep.
Okay, because I've been playing that recently. I mean, that's more of like a Ninja Gaiden type of game, but still, I couldn't help but like watch the gameplay footage you're streaming and be reminded of that game since I've been playing it recently. You should definitely play that game. I feel like that's a game you would enjoy.
Yeah, I have that. Thank you. I have that on my wish list. I just haven't picked it up yet because it hasn't been on sale when I checked, or I missed the sale. Don't check it, but I will eventually want to play that one. I do know of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely up your alley. I really feel strongly about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Rocket Knight Adventure.
That was the original.
Oh, wait, go on.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'll go after you, man.
Okay, I was just gonna say, yeah, like, not only do I love Rocket Knight Adventure, like, but it also actually made my top 30 favorite Genesis games, so, yeah, that just proves that it's a great game. I don't remember where I placed it, though, but not like the order really matters, though.
Yeah. I was gonna say it was in my top 10. Brian, I was originally gonna make a joke before you started and say you're gonna pick some shit like Gumshoe for the NES, but damn, this is a good pick.
I like
Awesome.
Gumshoe, but I've never beat Gumshoe yet. That game is hard.
I fucking love this game. I was also just gonna add that the Sparksters, the two different sequels, the Genesis one and the SNES one were different teams, and part of the team from the original Rocket Knight worked on the SNES one. So if you want a sequel similar to the first game, you play the SNES version of Sparkster. There you go. But yeah, no, I fucking love Rocket Knight Adventures. It was a great game.
This game is so classic, so memorable. I pirated the freaking, was it like the intro music for our Turbo Throwdown series? Just use it for the intro. Da, 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 da. Even just some of the sound effects are so memorable. Like that first stage, you just feel so heroic as a freaking opossum. He said, it's so good. And then the mechanic, that rocket mechanic, charging up and then like charging forward. It's a shame that the sequels don't do it justice.
They're good. I like the sequels, but the first one leaves such a memorable impression. I think it's hard to top it. You know, it's just so good. That first game,
the
so
final
good.
boss on normal. Couldn't beat it, and it's one of those things where it's like I was playing on original hardware, and I was like, "Nah."
Oh, well, getting to him is quite a feat, so that's good.
One day, I hope to.
Yeah.
Brian, by the way, can you stop presenting?
Sure.
Stop presenting, Brian. All right, Brian, you want to choose next person?
We'll choose. We'll keep the old guys going. We'll Ty Lord. How about you?
Okay, is that better? You get any more
We have
feedback?
muted you, Ty Lord, so you must unmute, or maybe I can unmute.
No, he's good. He's good.
Okay,
he's good. Cool.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Sorry about that, fellas. Excellent stuff, Brian. All you guys. Okay, so the game I award for my game of the year is one that it was a tough year because I played a lot of games. I didn't play 86 like Brian, but I played quite a few that I really liked, like maybe 15 to 20 games. There were some bangers this year. I went back and played. I played some new games and some old games, and there were some bangers. I would say it was tough to make this decision, but one of them stuck out more than the others. It was one I played through 9 times. And I usually don't play brand new games. I got this game right when it came out. I'm kind of biased toward the series and the game especially. The game is based on my favorite game of all time. And it's a game Daniel talked about earlier, and that's Resident Evil 4, the remake. And I know you guys have covered that on Map Out, and I think even Alex did a review on it. I know all you guys like it, but man, this one really touched me in special places. I was not expecting this to be so good. Like it was that was my favorite. Like I said, it's my favorite game of all time, the GameCube one. And I was not ready for a sequel or a remake. Like the game, the Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, I could see those maybe could use remakes because those are kind of like retro games. But I still feel like Resident Evil 4 is a new modern game, even though it came out on GameCube 2005. I still felt like it didn't need a remake. It's perfect the way it is. So I was kind of against this until I started seeing like the pictures of it. And I was the gameplay of it. And I was just expecting maybe like an updated version of it, just like they put like a coat of paint on it. Like it's the same game with better graphics, better load time, maybe no more tank control. But it looked really good from the ads. And then I played the demo and man, this is so good. And then I finally got the game. I think my wife got it for my birthday, which is kind of cool because she got me, when we were dating, she got me Resident Evil 4 for my birthday back on GameCube. She got me she got me the GameStop one in the burgundy tin. And she got me the guide with it, and she said, she still says to this day, that's the best birthday present I ever got you because I played that thing like 100 times. But she got me the Series X version, and I played that darn thing 9 times. I think I had some cash, and I bought the PS4 version. I played that once, so I played 8 times on Xbox, one time on PS4. I beat it on that hardest difficulty, which is a pain in the butt. It's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done to unlock the hand cannon and I got the Thompson too, and it was a pain, but it was well worth it because it makes the game so much easier. But anyway, like I said, this I might be biased towards it because it's my favorite game of all time, but I think it's so much different. It's like a totally different game to me, like sort of based on the area. It's so nostalgic in certain ways because the areas look the same, but the game is not the same. It's brand new modern controls. They've added new mechanics that make it even better. I'm not going to say better, but the new parry system is so satisfying when you pull it off, and the melee, and the melee is so satisfying even more than the original one. With these games, the 4 and the remake of 4, they almost feel like beat 'em ups. The way you can crowd control with like a throw or a karate kick, it's just so much fun. There's different enemies that come at you different ways and have different attacks, so it kind of feels like a beat 'em up. I really freaking love Resident Evil 4 and the remake for that. It almost seems like a John Wick, the new one, the way Leon moves, and if you get on a roll taking guys out, it kind of makes you feel like you're playing John Wick or something.
Great.
But freaking, yeah. And it's got
I just gotta say, being able to parry a chainsaw with your knife.
Oh,
that's it.
Yeah. That's something you couldn't do on the old one. You're dead if you try to do that. Yeah, so cool. But then, but I think what makes it so good is the formula. It's a simple formula that the old one had, just like the hero goes and saves the princess from the terrorists on the island. It's very simple, but it's so satisfying. Like, or the president's daughter. That's just like such a and then like Daniel was saying, like Ashley's not as annoying. Like she's actually kind of likable, and you're scared for her in this one. And she's more fleshed out. Not only that, but like Krauser and other minor characters are more fleshed out. Luis, as cool as Luis was, he's even more fleshed out. A really cool character. And Ada, I really like Ada in this, and like she's hotter than ever. Like visually, she always looked good, but man, she looks really super good in this. I hear people complain about her voice, but like, man, that's like the last thing I'm going to complain about. Like, I'm so satisfied about this game. Like. But man, I love Ada, Krauser, all those guys. The boss is even creepier. And then Sadler and Salazar, they're both creepier than ever. Like I said, there was so many other fun games I played this year, and I would have put them in this. I almost thought about choosing a different one just because Daniel already chose this one, but I couldn't. I had to stay with Resident Evil 4.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but I'm glad you decided
to talk
about it.
Anyway. I'm happy you picked it though.
Yeah, I remember last year. I think a couple people picked Elden Ring.
Yeah.
So it's
how quickly were you
did it
replaying
9 times? Holy shit!
Yeah, how quick did you get at beating the game?
Oh, I don't think it was. I know. At one point you have to beat it in a certain time to get that machine gun. Is it 8 hours or 5? That's the best I ever did. Was whatever the criteria was to get the machine gun on hard.
Mm-hmm.
But now if you have you know what? I did blaze through with the rocket launcher though, so I think it was probably a few hours. I can't remember. It seems a lot longer than the old one, but they might be about the same.
But when you had the time, like you were able to crush a replay in 1 week type of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think within, I don't know, it seemed like I beat the game like 9 times within like 3 weeks. I'd have to go look at my files. I'd have to go look at my file. But man, I was obsessed with that game. Like it was almost like playing Resident Evil 4 again for the first time. I guess that's what it was intended to be like. Yeah.
Nice.
That's exactly right. I think that's another reason why the remake hit so well for me was it felt like it brought me back to high school.
Yeah.
Which was your favorite playthrough of the 9?
probably when I had all those rocket launchers, the most previous one. It definitely wasn't the one where I was trying to unlock the Thompson, because that was a pain trying to beat it with only like you only have to save like 5 times and get through it on. Oh, and then on freaking hardcore, you don't have checkpoints. Like it doesn't continue. You have to save at the typewriter. So if you can only save 5 times, it's a pain in the butt. Like you have to backtrack.
Okay, that's pretty brutal.
Jeez.
So probably playing it on normal, probably the first time through is my favorite.
I had a Ferris Bueller GIF or image for you. 9 times.
Yeah.
Did you play Separate Ways?
No, I want to play that. I haven't downloaded it yet. I heard it's only like $10. I'm afraid I'm just gonna play that like 15 times and ignore my family.
I know my friend really liked the Separate Ways DLC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to playing that. I might wait till 2024 to play that. So next year, if I'm on again, I can choose that.
Next Game Awards. We already know Ty Lords. Yeah. He's still playing Resident Evil 4.
Thank you, Ty Lord.
Yeah.
Who's next?
My
Who you
pleasure.
picking?
I'll do DZ.
Oh, okay.
Hey guys, sorry, but I need to go.
All right, no worries.
Yeah,
man.
it was great talking to you guys.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah.
Take
See
care,
ya.
Good
everyone.
night.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Take care,
have a good
buddy.
one.
Thanks, Daniel.
Bye, Daniel.
Goodbye.
At least the Resident Evil contingent is still strong here.
All
Thank
right.
God, he's gone. I'm all right. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So, got all these amazing games coming out 2023. That's your, Tears of the Kingdom. You got your Baldur's Gate 3, but one game I feel like personally really resonated with me was a little game called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Oh.
Yes. As soon as that game was announced, like around 2019, 2020, I was just obsessed. I usually don't get hyped about games as much as I used to nowadays, but I wanted that one for so long, and I was just so glad to finally play it when it came out a few months ago. So yeah, it's pretty much like what I would expect from a game like this. You're just like this punk kid who's going around spray painting stuff, but it's a lot different. It has, I wouldn't say a complex story, but it's more, it's more so than what Jet Grind Radio was offering. Which was very arcadey, very simplistic. So yeah, like in the first couple of minutes minutes of the game, your character gets his head cut off and replaced with like a cybernetic head. And so not only do you have to be the best tagger, you want to go all city. That's what it means to, just be the best no one ever was. But you also have to find your head and basically, why you're attacked. And the story just kind of unfurls into a lot more than I expected it to be. This silly little game where you're just going around doing tricks and spray painting. And the trick system is really great. It's not quite like Tony Hawk. It's a bit more, I guess, even more arcadey than Tony Hawk. It's more about just getting the highest point multiplier by doing different tricks consistently rather than just mashing the same trick over and over again, because you won't get like that multiplier. So yeah, you can get some ridiculous combos, like up to like around 1 million if you're good enough. And because the game gets a lot tougher, especially if you want to unlock the different characters, because you have to basically score off with them and beat their score, and it can get really high. But The game itself is not that long. It's only like I probably beat it in like a few days, but you could probably beat it like shorter than that amount of time. And I was kind of like just taking my time with it, unlocking like the different tags, the different music you can find just by like going around the world and doing these basically like little mini games where you have to like high five these little like robot guys, and you have to like do it in one continuous combo. And but yeah, the game was good. It wasn't amazing, but it was everything I wanted it to be. But I understand it doesn't have enough, I guess, content or meat, to satisfy a lot of more hardcore gamers. But it wins my award of best vibing game. It's just kind of chill because it's got amazing music and it's just fun to move around the city. You have like this jetpack thing on your back as well to kind of like use for double jumps and boosts. And outside of I guess getting chased by the police, it's a very chill game.
Nice. I've heard about that game. I thought about checking it out, but I kind of forgot about it until now.
Yeah, that's fair.
This was like the Jet Set Radio that Sega didn't do, right? Like
yes, it was made by Team Reptile. Yeah. They made Lethal League, if you've heard of that game.
But now they're doing one.
Yeah, they finally did it. They saw them. They saw Bomber Cyberpunk. They was like, you know what? Maybe we can do it again.
Probably
people want it.
Yeah, that was probably honestly the influence. Everybody like, oh, people want that? No, okay.
And I like I like that it's short. I like short games. They interest me more now than
me too.
ever. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you play more short games, you can hit 100 next year.
Yeah, exactly.
I never played.
Where can we play that? Is that
wait a minute. So you telling me you played 87 games this year, and some of them were like long?
Oh, me?
Wow.
No, I played 85. I beat 85, but most of them were
Oh,
yeah.
The longest one was a newer game.
Got it.
Yeah, most of the games I play are pretty short. They could be beaten in a few
got it.
minutes. So, yeah.
Because you play a lot of NES games. Those are
Yeah,
typically
those
like
are
45
really
minutes.
Yeah, if you know what you're
Yeah,
doing.
for sure. Just checking, just clarifying.
Back to DZD. Tyler, what were you saying?
Oh, where can we play this? Is this on Game Pass or?
I don't think so. I think it's on Steam and Switch. It might be on Game Pass.
Oh, okay.
Or
okay.
Consoles later.
Okay.
Yeah, let me look it up.
And this has skateboards, bikes, and roller skates.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that you do have different modes of transportation. They all kind of play very similarly, but it's a nice little switch up.
Hmm.
Yeah, the game's on played pretty much everything.
Not the original Bomb
excellent.
Rush, Cyberpunk.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. The original Jet Set Radio. Do you think that's worth going back to?
I think it is. The first one is a bit. I wouldn't say the controls are bad, but it's kind of hard to maneuver. Like I feel like you're kind of fighting with the controls when you try to like do jumps and flips, but it's still a fun game to try out at least once.
Future's the one you want to play, but they don't port Jet Set Radio Future to anything.
Yeah, hopefully they'll change that. There's like this legal issue, I think, with Microsoft or something.
Yeah, I love the look. Just looking at this game that I looked at it looks beautiful.
Cell shading.
It's amazing looking.
It will never.
Good. Yeah, it'll look good in 30 years.
Exactly. Nice.
Well, thank you, DZD.
Thanks.
No problem.
Yep.
Who you picking?
Let's see. Who didn't go? Did Wariat go?
Wariat. That's me. Did I go? No, I didn't go. But I'm gonna actually defer it to Multimaster since we've basically done everyone but the button mappers.
Saving the mappers.
You can go.
Yeah, Multi. Yeah, it's fine.
I think he's back in the show.
Hey, listen, can you give me like 5 minutes? I literally just got to my office.
I'll go then. Yeah, and then you go after. That work? Cool. All right. So I played a lot of I didn't play 84 games, but I played like closer to 40. And 2023 was like the year of the games, year of the best games ever. And I mean, I have a hard time playing games of the current year. I tend to, if there are games that were notable, play them like the year after. So I did that for a couple games. I did that for some old games, the years after. But the game I'm picking is probably not the best game of the litter, but it is the one I appreciate the most for its uniqueness and diversity, especially amongst entries of its own series. Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's the first game that I've like 100%ed in the Pokemon series. I call it 100%ed. I didn't do every checklist box, but I did catch every single Pokemon natively within the game. It's something every other mainline Pokemon game makes you have to trade for. So I thought that was really cool. Really felt like an adventure. I mentioned it's not perfect. There's a couple of evolutions that are really obscure and hard to get. Like use Stone Edge 20 times on a Ursa Ring or something. It's just like these weird things you would never think to do. Although technically they are in the Pokédex as like little entries, so that's kind of a little hack for you if you hadn't thought about it. I really like this game conceptually. The concept is Pokemon at its origin rather than modern day like city. So it actually takes place in Gen 4 in Jubilife Village before it becomes Jubilife City in Pokemon Diamond, Platinum, and Poil. And the concept is Arceus is the creator Pokemon, and you're kind of dropped in. And I don't remember exactly because I played it back in January. This was also a Christmas gift, and it's very rare that I play a Christmas gift right away. But this is one that had piqued my interest because it was so different. There's kind of like 5 open worlds. I know it gets the Breath of the Wild comparisons. Yeah, rightfully so. There's like all these checklist things, and I guess it's novel. Like you get like items that you can use. You could throw berries. I barely do that, but the things that I love are like being able to sneak up on a Pokemon from behind, throw a Pokeball, and not even have to engage in a battle, and you just catch it. You have a farm at the back at your base of Jubilife Village, and they all go there. But you have your core party, and it moves fast. Your team is leveling up fast. I think the things I love are just like you want to explore so much to be able to see what Pokemon are roaming around in this area. What did I miss? There's always kind of like these like little completion things, like how many Pokemon did I see in the area versus catch? And then of course it does go into battles, and it just feels, I don't know, it has this kind of like calming feel. I really love the game soundtrack. I put it on sometimes. I got a cat today, a little kitten, and I was putting on I think it was like the Jubilife Village soundtrack, and he actually came out from under the bed. So that was cute. Riding on Pokemon. So this is pretty limited. There's like 5, but it's pretty interesting ways of traveling around. I think it kind of does like the it's like a flute. You use the flute to some of them. Legend Leo maybe can help me out here. There's not many fights with trainers because it's more about just encountering like the monsters of the wild. But the ones that there are can be pretty intense. I remember one of the last fights being just huge. And also there's like a protector Pokemon of every realm. And it's like this big battle where they have like a huge health bar and you have to like throw a bunch of stuff at it and avoid the damage. It's not my favorite mechanic in the game, but it at least changes up the formula and keeps the story moving. A lot of I don't know, like hidden legendaries and stuff that I thought was cool. And yeah, what I like about it is that it keeps your brain working. Like, what haven't I done? What can I do to catch this Pokemon? So to me, it was very creative. It was very fun, very engaging. I think I completed it in like 2 weeks. It's rare that I get that invested into a game. So congratulations, Pokemon Legends Arceus. You get the Wariat Game of the Year award. Wario's blessing.
Teddy, it's worth plugging the 1.5 or so hour episode you did with Spencer, where you two covered the game in more detail, because that was a fun one to listen to.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you. I'm glad Spencer played it with me. I don't think he enjoyed it as much.
Spencer froze. Otherwise, he would chime in right now. I think Spencer froze.
I didn't freeze.
He's frozen.
Is that
Yeah, it was on RPG Archive. Check it out.
There you go.
Yeah,
Is that the newest Pokemon?
no,
Oh, pardon me.
no,
second
No,
newest.
that's Scarlet Violet.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I think when we recorded it, Teddy, I didn't realize just how big of a Pokemon fan you were. I know. I think I always kind of knew that you liked Pokemon a lot, but I didn't realize like it was like it's like one of the most important things like game franchises to you, isn't it?
It's up there, and it probably is top 3. It usually ranks 4th to like Zelda, SMT, and Dragon Quest, but honestly, I probably put Pokemon a little higher than maybe all 3.
Yeah, because at the time I thought it was Dragon Quest. It was more important, but then I was listening back to that one too, and just in the like thinking about it later, and it's just like because I didn't find Arceus. I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was cool that they made a game that sort of channeled more modern sensibilities and tried to apply it to Pokemon, but I didn't think it was particularly amazing. But then I realized, like, oh, like he's a bigger Pokemon fan than I thought. So I think that like combining all that stuff pushed it like way over the edge for you. And I was like,
Sure,
hey,
it's like
cool.
seeing your favorite character
Right.
in like I don't know, in another game or something. It's like, yeah, wow, it's so cool. So to me, I don't even care that like, some things are obscure. Oh, I played this game almost entirely guideless until I had like 5 Pokemon left, and I spent a couple hours. I was like, what the hell am I doing? And then I was like, okay, fine, I'll just go to Cerebi.net. But Legend of Leo is also pretty invested in the intricacies of Pokemon as well. So I would reverse shout you out or shout you in, as we said prior, for your Pokemon videos as well. The
Thank
master
you.
thesis on ranking the Pokemon games.
Yeah, hey, let's not put it anyway like that. People are going to tune in and think it's a video essay. I ranked the games and I spent like around 7 minutes on each game talking about them, and I had a highlight for
Verbal
Arceus.
essay.
Sure.
It was done by word of mouth.
You know what? If people
Better
haven't
than
played
me.
it, if people didn't play Arceus yet, I'll just tack on. And you grew up with Red, Blue, Yellow, or one of the earlier games. Some of the magic from the earlier games is the emphasis on having to catch all of the Pokemon. The emphasis on the Pokédex. Rather than like Game Freak kind of meandering their way through the newer generations and trying to figure out, are we making an adventure? Are we making a JRPG? We're bloating the Pokédex. What are we doing here? I thought Arceus took you way back to gotta catch 'em all, and I mentioned like that was my favorite thing. That was the addictive ingredient in it for me. So I wonder if that was the addictive ingredient for you.
You know what I liked? Because Majora's Mask is up there as probably one of my favorite Zeldas, if not my favorite. The things I loved about Majora's Mask was like the Bomber's Journal. Like keeping track of like all the little mini challenges you accomplish. And when you get that with every single Pokemon, and it's like each checklist gets you another star on your ranking, it's like, I'm sold.
Yeah. Organization in
I'm
video
geeking
games is
out.
really fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I can say that as someone who hasn't played Arceus yet, if I were to play a newer Pokemon game, that would actually be the one that like I would play, because one of my main like criticisms towards like the more recent Pokemon games is that, like they're just the same shit, and I just get tired of getting all the gym badges. And that game is like totally different, and it's like, yeah, like it looks cool. It had different setting with like like you said, it takes place in like the past, so like there's no like future shit, which is different. And then, yeah, like the fact that it's all about actually trying to capture all the Pokemon while you're just in an open world, like it looks cool. And yeah, I have to say, like for them, like actually doing something different, it's kind of nice because they haven't done that since like the GameCube games.
Yeah, Game Freak just realized that their series prints money, so why bother changing it all that much?
Yeah, and I mean,
Glad when
I
they
get
actually
it,
did it.
but
Yeah.
I outgrew it because I think it's just like for me personally, like I was getting older, and when Pokemon games were coming out, I was just playing like other games that were kind of fulfilling for me. So
Yeah, that's how I was, and that's why I eventually just stopped playing the games. But I wanted to play Arceus. I just never got a chance to get into it. 'Cause it looks so
same.
different.
One thing I appreciate about the game too is that it is the spin-off that's sold. Because like I think a lot of times Game Freak's like, oh, our mainline games print money. But these spin-offs, we take the creative risks. We make like the Gale of Darkness, Final Fantasy looking Pokemon, and it's like, well, who cared? Well, a lot of people cared, but only those who played it. Versus Arceus is, I think it's up there in the top 10, top 20 million seller.
It's around
Million
14
plus.
million copies sold, and I think that puts it around like 13th on the Switch or so.
Damn.
And I'm so happy for that. I'm so happy that they're rewarding, that creativity is getting rewarded. It may not have outsold, Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, but it's up there. So
I mean, I don't think it has to outsell it, but the fact that it at least like made like a shit ton, I think, is what's good. And also, by the way, another spin-off game that should have taken off was freaking Pika Park or whatever.
Hey, you Pikachu?
No, it was the Wii one. I think it's called like Poke Park or
Ranch.
some shit.
Yeah,
No,
Poke Park.
it's
It's like-
Poke Park.
Yeah, Poke Park. Yeah, there you go. The one where you use Pikachu to gotta like make friends with the other Pokemon. It's so dumb.
It's Poke Park Pikachu's Adventure, and there's 2 of them.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, it actually got a sequel.
So you said
There you go.
13th on the Switch at 13 million. Jesus. And it's 13th at 13. Jeez, oh man. How many million sellers are there on the Switch? Jeez.
Yeah, well, remember Mario Kart 8 is going to be the #1 slot, so everything's got to come after that.
Yeah. We'll get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch too.
Mario Kart
Yeah.
88.
Yeah, 88 Deluxe.
Ultra Deluxe.
88 characters, Mario Kart. All right, is Multimaster good?
I think he's spinning.
Don't know.
Yeah, that's his camera.
Yeah, I
right?
got squares.
Alright,
Yeah,
I
it
got
looks like
squares.
buffering.
He's gone. He left. He's back.
Hello.
Yep.
The master, hello.
So
Nice.
you guys can hear me?
What?
Oh, you guys couldn't hear me, huh?
No, we can hear you now.
We can hear you.
Very clearly.
Oh, yeah. Look, my game of the year is a Super Mario RPG for the Switch.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because I think that, well, honestly, I prefer it on the Super Nintendo. I think that the new graphics they don't look like that good, but I certainly can appreciate that Nintendo's bringing that game back. I don't think that game even is like that beloved, even like Paper Mario or anything like that. I think that game more so has like a cult following, if anything. But I checked it out at my friend Joe's house. I think it's great. I beat it on the Super Nintendo, but on the Wii though, like I downloaded it on the Wii when I was growing up, and that game was really good. The music is great, and I'm gonna be streaming it with Joe. I think we're gonna start next week, so stay tuned, motherfuckers, because we're gonna get this shit done. Yeah, definitely no props to Paper Mario 2 remake. I think that is a typical Nintendo, adds nothing to the fucking game. I don't think I needed an HD remake. Just remake the whole fucking game or give it a sequel.
You don't want that.
And I also played Nick All Stars Brawl. That game sucks. That game is some mierda. Shit.
Is that the worst game of the year for you?
Yeah, that's the worst game. That's the worst game of the year.
That one.
It's just one big meme,
The worst.
really.
Malta, I don't think you want them to remake or to make a new Paper Mario because they have been making new Paper Marios,
have.
and they're called the Origami King. I think you'll
No.
enjoy that.
No. Listen, no. I said a sequel.
Yeah,
To
it
Paper
is a
Mario
sequel.
2. No. To Paper Mario 2. Origami King is a sequel
Well-
to Color Splash, was a sequel to Sticker Star. Color Splash
Which is the
and
sequel,
Sticker Star
to
are similar.
Super Paper Mario. It's Super Paper Mario. It's a sequel to
I'm
1,000
just
Year
letting you
Door.
know. I'm just letting you know. Like, I think the Paper Mario 2 HD remake, I think it was kind of pointless. I'm sure fans wanted like at the very least for them to change stuff in the game. That's all I'm gonna say.
So
I
you
think
want a new
Super Mario. What?
Oh, I was just saying you want a new Paper Mario, but it doesn't follow like the other games. It's just like its own new thing that plays like the older ones.
No. I'm just saying that like they need to
I
make
don't
one
think
that's
you know
good.
what you want, Malta.
DZ,
No, I'm just saying
DZ,
they need to make one that's good, bro.
DZ, and
That's it. That's all.
short answer, DZ. Yes, that's exactly what he just
No,
said.
so you think Sticker Star is good? Okay, I got you. I understand.
No.
I think it sucks.
Malta, don't put words in my mouth. I'm saying
But Super
what
Mario RPG is the game of the year.
you want them to make a Paper Mario that follows the old style where it was an actual RPG instead of them, but you want it to be a new game, right?
I just think the mechanics for the first two maybe do something interesting like that. I think that Super Paper Mario I think it was the best one since, but it doesn't really do it for me. I think that the ones on the 3DS, Wii U, and Switch were extremely disappointing. I'm sure a lot of people gave up on the series on one of those. But really my game of the year is Super Mario RPG. I was just letting you guys know like all the new games of this year that I played.
Keep us posted.
The remake, right? So you're picking the remake.
Well, Joe, my friend, I had not played video games in over a year. He just a few weeks ago he got me into playing them again. We've been streaming because I was excited to talk about the new games of this year.
Okay.
How come you
Do you
prefer
know
the
if the
SNES?
remake?
Whoop.
What?
Do you know if the remake changes anything
Hell
besides
no!
the graphics?
Paper Mario 2 remake? No, nothing.
We're talking about. I think
Do you know if the remake changes anything besides the graphics?
he's talking about Mario RPG. I think just the.
Oh yeah. Just like the battle system looks different. Well, obviously, like on the Super Nintendo, it was like you just kind of you like selected like whatever button is on your controller, you clicked it, and then like you have to keep pressing that button. And on the Switch, it's not like that. The health bar it looks different. What's so funny, dude? Shave that mustache, motherfucker.
We did it for Wario Month.
No. All right.
I like Malta. I love that. In the original Mario RPG, you have to push the button on the controller, and then it does the, and then you have to. But the trick is you have to keep pushing it.
No, I mean you got to keep pressing. You got to keep pushing the same button.
You got to keep pushing it. Yeah.
No, there's not like an action button or a cancel button. You just got to keep spamming the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
And this one you don't. No
this
spam.
one is no spamming the buttons. Yeah.
Spam less.
Is this your office? You look like you're in a hangar or something, like a dispensary or a distillery, I should say.
An airport.
Yeah. What is this? Where's your desk?
Where I sleep, bud.
Where's your desk?
All right, bro. Now that you want a tour, here's my desk.
Oh,
Here's
jeez.
Wow, I love
that. Speed.
Pretty nice.
It says speed metal.
It belongs to me.
Metal. What's that? Is that the new metal?
Yeah, it's Rush.
Yep.
I prefer hurry.
You guys have so much to learn. You guys know
metal.
nothing at all.
What's your favorite thrash?
Teach
metal
us your ways, Master of Malta.
Hey, Brian, ask you a question.
What's my favorite thrash band?
I'm curious.
Oh, well, you guys don't want to hear Metallica, even though that's my favorite. But some thrash bands I like thrash / speed metal. Like they play a mix. SDI and Violent Force from Germany. Acero Letal from Chile. Pretty much all the Germany is kind of like the home speed metal, and also a lot of thrash came from there too.
Okay.
So as far as like only thrash, I would say one of my favorite albums is Fistful of Metal by Anthrax, their first album. And they went, when they got a new singer, when they got Belladonna replaced Neil Turbin, not as good.
I agree. You know, it's true that Germany is the new thrash metal hotspot, but Brian prefers Sumerian thrash metal.
Man, what the fuck is Sumerian mean?
It's a joke because I'm.
I
so
can't
old.
even. Yeah, I don't even know if you're serious or not.
No, he's
What
joking
the
because I'm so old.
Yeah, he wants all of his. He
I
likes
would like
the.
to hear Sumerian thrash metal.
Yeah, well, you can redo it. The lyrics are in Sanskrit. They're on the actual tablets, if you can find them.
Right.
Pretty
So
impressive
the
stuff.
the music in this, it's still as good as ever. Did they redo it, orchestrated Malta on Super Mario RPG?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, good. That
No,
music's great
no,
on
what the
this
fuck?
game.
What do you expect me to say? They always be doing like those little orchestras and shit. Nintendo always doing like since like Super Smash Brothers Brawl. They got like this like huge production, like remaking fucking songs and shit.
Okay, so
Nintendo always be orchestrating.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Motto.
I kind of miss the old style too, but I think the new style is.
Can't you switch between the old and the new music in the game?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's a setting in the
Typical
game that you can
Nintendo.
switch back and forth.
Oh man.
Oh, there you go. You'll find out on the stream.
Yeah,
next
yeah.
week.
Thank you.
Is this on your Twitch channel?
Yeah, well, it's on Joe's Twitch, but we're gonna like record it and put it on YouTube. But
Okay.
he wanted to do only a Let's Play, but like that shit died off like almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And, like streaming like completely killed Let's Play.
Sure.
Yeah.
So exactly, so nobody, the people won't watch it that much. It's a replay.
I like
Oh,
your
man.
office.
You know those channels are dead. All those channels, if they didn't adapt, bro, they didn't start streaming. Decapitated.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Done.
true. That way.
It's over.
Malta, can you flex for us before you turn your camera off? Can you flex for us, please?
What you said, bro? What you said?
Can you flex for us?
Sure can.
Thank you. Oh, I can't wait for this. This is gonna be so good. This is gonna be great.
Here we go. 50
Oh, my
centimeters
God.
of bicep.
I love that.
Oh,
Oh
there
my
it is.
god.
And
Yes.
triceps, not even tricep, just the bi.
Oh. Oh,
Double
thank
bicep. Bye bicep. Bye bye to the bicep.
you. Thanks, Malta, dude. Oh my
Amazing.
god. Oh my god. I'm gonna
That's speed metal right there.
I'm gonna
That's
loop
real speed
that.
metal.
Loop that later.
I'm the strongest in the stream.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You're a
Yeah,
strong
it's
boy.
you. It's you, Malta. It was always you.
Yeah. Impressive.
Well, thank you. You get two choices: Alex or Spencer.
Let's go,
Who do you-
Spencer.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad nobody picked it. I assumed somebody would, but nobody did, so we're in luck. I'm gonna pick.
It sucks.
This game is gonna suck, dude. I already know it. Dragon Quest.
I'm getting shy now. I don't know if I should say it.
Sorry,
Resident Evil.
Spencer.
I'm
Sorry,
nervous.
Spencer. Go ahead.
I'm nervous. Okay, I'll try. I'll try to keep my composure.
Poo-Poo Land.
Poo-poo land? Is that what you said?
Say it, motherfucker. What is it?
Say what?
The game.
game.
What do you think?
Okay. My game that I'm gonna give the Game of the Year award to. yeah. Get ready for this, Alex. Baldur's Gate 3. Oh my god. I hold for the
Wait,
gas.
did you say Boulder's Gate? The one where you shoot boulders?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Often mistaken for Baldur's Gate 3. No, this is Baldur's Gate.
About a bald guy, and he's standing at the gate. They made 3 of them.
Yeah, this is the third somehow. I mean, it's pretty redundant to go into too much detail, but it's a CRPG. It's been out for forever, but it just officially got released recently. But I've been playing it before on, I guess it was Greenlight or whatever it was on, where you could just play it earlier.
Chapter 1 early access.
Yeah.
something.
I've been playing. I played the intro to the game like 3 times with my friend, just testing out different builds and stuff. But it's made by Larian Studios. They did Divinity. Really good CRPG, follows basic D&D rules with a couple interesting twists. Oh, I don't give a shit about the story. I don't give a shit about the characters. If I could play the game without them, I would, and just make my own party. If you can play it, you can play it multiplayer. So if you can get 4 or 3 friends, multi, I know that's hard for you, but most of us, if we can get 3 friends, you can play the whole thing without talking to the stupid characters and hearing their dumb stories. And that's how I would recommend it, because playing that game multiplayer is an absolute blast. It combines turn-based RPG, tactical combat with like a lot of logic-based combat, which you don't see a whole lot. Like, but it's simple in concept. So like, you see water on the floor, you can cast an ice spell, it turns into ice. Now everybody slips and falls, and it's really funny. Just shit like that makes combat a little bit more dynamic and interesting. The voice acting, even though I don't give a shit about the characters, is obviously it's pretty standout. They took it very, very seriously. There's tons of it, tons of dialogue. So if you're into that, there's just almost infinite replayability in what you can do. Looks decent. I wouldn't say it's the best looking game I've played, but it looks certainly great. But yeah, it's a great game, good time, really good multiplayer. And it's worth a playthrough. So my game is Baldur's Gate 3.
Spencer, it's not too late to switch to a Dragon Quest game, you know.
Dragon Quest The Dark Prince deserves 0 awards, 0 accolades. It is a baseline game that barely meets the criteria of being released on the Switch, and I love it. So there you go.
We played 6 this year. I don't know.
I think Baldur's Gate 3, what I read, since everyone's talking about it right now, was 170 hours of recorded or like made cutscenes, and the number of dialogue lines or whatever is like in the 5 digits, like 990,000 type of thing. But Spencer, I'm a little surprised because I remember when you were talking to oh my God,
Teddy.
I don't know what Teddy. Yeah, sorry. It was in the end of one of your talks about Baldur's Gate or something. You mentioned like, oh, D&D and D&D is kind of going mainstream and people aren't playing it properly with the save scumming and this and that. I didn't know that you had such a good impression of Baldur's Gate 3 because I thought, well, that just kind of made it sound like the experience was soured for you. So how did you play it? No save scumming?
We save scummed the shit out of that game.
Yeah. That's
no. I think so. That when we talked about that with Teddy, it brought up an interesting point to me when I was playing it with my friend. Is that Baldur's Gate 3 is a really great game and it's based off of D&D, but if you're actually looking for a D&D experience, it is not that. I worry that people will say, "Oh, I played Baldur's Gate 3. I think I like D&D now," and then they go try D&D and it's.
Yeah, someone who's played D&D for a few years now, it's nothing like it. I mean, it is in.
It takes the rules, right?
Yeah, it just takes the rules.
But the problem is that Baldur's Gate is a game, and D&D is like, it's not really a game because you don't get to the end credits in D&D. So it's more of like an experience that you just kind of share with the people at your table. Whereas Baldur's Gate 3 is, I need to get from A to B and see the end credits. So just the mere fact, like the way that they handle everything, it's just so from just like I don't want to get too crazy about this, but like just listen to the Teddy's video and you'll understand more.
Well, no, they had to make it a fun video game, not a overly rigid, structured experience that's only going to sell to a small niche of people.
Right.
Like, Larian is really good at expanding things for a broader player base, whether you like that or not. That's what they're good at.
Right. And so,
but the problem is that people watch that video and then they say, "Oh, he's saying it's a bad game," which is not what he's saying at all. Yeah. He's just saying it's different. It's similar. Like the concept is derives, but it's not. You cannot put D&D in a video game. That is the thesis. It's not that just because it wasn't D&D, it was bad.
Yeah, like really simple point. And I made this in his video, but I think it illustrates it best. You need a high amount of charisma, right, to pass to convince a guard to let you pass a bridge. So you need to roll 15 or higher. So if you have strong charisma, you get the bonuses that make that easier to achieve. In D&D, if you fail that, your party now has to find another way to cross that bridge, or not cross the bridge at all. Any of those are possible choices. In Baldur's Gate 3, load the save, and try again. Which
Yeah, you can't. There are no redos.
right, which essentially, if you really go like think about it from a like a further perspective, you don't actually need high charisma, right?
Yeah.
Because you can always reload the save. And just you could have the most obnoxious, boring, dumb character in the world that has 8 charisma, but as long as you keep loading the save, you'll eventually pass because it's just a dice roll. So technically, you don't actually need any stats in that game if you just want to save scum your way through it. So by that nature, it's completely a different experience. And so that's all I really want to say. But the game itself, if you're just playing it as a game, it's an absolute blast. And certainly, again, I stress. Play it with friends because it's way more fun that way. And it's fun to bullshit and do fun stuff. So
how did you manage through all the cutscenes? I watched this came out on Xbox a couple days ago. I watched the trailer. It was like all romance shit, like monsters kissing and shit. I'm like
Oh shit! I'm in.
Yeah, Alex just brought. Yeah, Alex is ordering.
I'm going on Xbox right now.
Special edition now. Yeah, it's like in that game you can fuck everything. I guess I don't really give a shit. Like I don't want to fuck any of those characters. They're all boring. Like
I think the problem with that is, hold on, not to interrupt, but I think the problem with that is they kind of Larian Studios kind of took the memes that kind of came out of D&D, like, oh, if you're a bard, you can romance anything. Then they kind of ran with it a bit too far. That's why it's just so horny.
No, they did it because the people that play video games right now are a bunch of horny little motherfuckers that are fucking people.
That's been like that's been most people who don't play video games for years. Well, not everyone.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why this game sold so well. I think they're like, you know what, people want to you know what was missing in RPGs is all the fucking. Let's add that to it.
People as a monk, I don't care. I just want to
I want to punch people super hard and see really high numbers and be like, "Oh man, I'm a man," because nothing in my real life is convincing me of that. So when you actually add in all the stupid sex, I don't care about any of that. That's childish. That's nonsense. Mm-hmm. So, but it is there if that's a selling point. Is you can pretty much fuck any of the characters no matter what your gender is. So there you go.
I should correct the stat from earlier. 5 digits for lines is nothing special. What was surprising, 5 digits for the number of possible endings. Now, obviously, like that's going to include the tiniest permutations, but I still thought that was pretty astounding.
Yep. Well, I didn't really pay a lot of attention to the characters or what their motivations were. I just wanted to mess around with the tactics combat.
Yeah.
So the ending was like a brick hitting my head, and my head is also made of a brick. It just literally was like, oh, great. Anyway, I had fun with it. It was good.
Good.
Yeah. One thing I do want to mention real quick that's really random and stupid, and this would only apply to me of all people, is that there is a character in that game that's literally named Shadowheart, and I'm just like, what the fuck? They named a character after my favorite PS4 RPG?
Yeah.
Like, what the shit? And then even more ironic for me is that, like, she actually looks very similar to the main character of Deception 2. Like, and I'm just like, okay, did the people that made this shit, where they were like, hey, you know that BioPhoenix guy? He's never bought any real games before. Like, we need to like sink him into it. Of course, I haven't bought the game yet, but I'm not gonna lie though, like, I've never played a Baldur's Gate game before except for Dark Alliance on PS2, which is a completely different game. But that game was actually pretty fun, and if from all the stuff I've heard about this newer one there, it actually would be fun to like play with friends. Because I know I have one friend of mine who does play it, and and he says it's a great time. So yeah.
Did you play Divinity?
I just wanted to mention that because I know no one else will fucking would. So.
Did you play Divinity?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a turn-based tactical RPG. That
I mean, I like all that.
Right.
So.
I mean, you can't. Yeah, it's great.
Spencer?
What's up, Brian?
I have a question, actually, but let Brian go.
What's up, Brian?
Is this I'm sorry if you mentioned it or not. Is this turn-based?
Yes.
Or is it... Okay.
It's turn-based. You have a maximum of 4 players on your team, and your enemy can have infinitesimal amounts. There's no limit. So you take turns. It's not grid-based. It's length-based. So you have a certain amount of meters you can run, and then you cast spells and attack. And then it follows D&D rules. So if you understand D&D, like with dice rolls, that's the combat.
The way it works, Brian, your party is kind of roaming around freely on whatever map. And then when you encounter an enemy, it starts an instance there, and that part of the map becomes your battlefield. And then it goes turn-based.
Oh, okay. And the Baldur's Gate, the titular Baldur's Gate, what's that a reference to in the game? Did you
It's a
actually
city.
go to a Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
it's
it's
like
a
a
location. You go there, yes.
Okay.
Spoiler alert! It's called both.
I guess that's in D&D, Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, it's in the Forgotten Realms lore.
Okay, thank you. I was always curious about that.
I noticed it has split
So
screen.
is your
Is this a game
party-
you think is worth playing with a significant other?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What was Teddy? What was your question?
I noticed the game has split screen. Is it a game worth playing with your significant other?
Oh, it does have split screen. I didn't even know that.
I noticed on Xbox
does.
it does.
It doesn't on Series S though, Teddy. Sadly, I've already looked into that.
Really? Oh,
The
that's
PS5
lame.
and Series X version does have split screen, but Series S apparently can't handle it.
Too much.
Spencer, I'm gonna. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Also,
Still answer it.
Tyler had a question. What's up, Tyler?
Oh, so you
Damn,
said it's
just gonna ignore my
multiplayer.
question like
Do you have is your whole party made up of other players, or does each player have their own party?
So you have 4 character slots essentially for your team, and you can also add people that just come and go with the quest line. But in general, it's 4, and then the 4 are filled up. You have your character that you make, and the rest of your party comprises of different characters you meet along the way, which they can come and go if you depending on your actions because they have their own motivations. If you have friends that you want to play with, they assume one of those roles and just it becomes one of their characters. The characters,
okay.
yeah. So I highly recommend playing it with your friends so you don't have to listen to the other characters and their stupid babble. Brian, what's up?
Can you mute can you have it text only so you don't have to hear like all the talking?
Yeah, you take the volume and you crank it down.
Yeah, on your TV,
Is
you
the
just-
music good?
The music's fine. I don't play games for music. I usually mute music as well.
Yeah,
But-
he's like the worst person to ask for
I know.
that.
It's like I fucking hate music.
Spencer could go deaf tomorrow and he wouldn't care.
Yeah, it would be probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me. But yeah, you can. It's modern games. You have sliders, so you can just slide the voice dialogue all the way down, and then you don't have to worry about that shit.
Not even Dragon Quest VIII music?
No, it's not very good.
Especially Dragon Quest.
Yeah, that one I hate more than any, Brian.
Oh, I was not expecting that. Okay.
Poison to my ears.
Brian, it can't be worse than
Like Dragon Quest. That was okay.
Brian, it can't be worse than freaking Rockin' Bullwinkle and NES.
Oh god, that's
Classic.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
That'll make you turn down the music on everything if you hear that first. The first game you hear in your life is that game.
I can only imagine.
Maybe that's the reason Spencer doesn't listen to music today.
Yeah, it was Rock and
Origin
Bullwinkle
story
and Scarf.
confirmed.
Yeah, that's the prequel to me. Alex, go ahead. You can top us off.
You're gonna pick me?
Is his camera
Wow.
working for you?
Yeah, I can see him.
I can see him, yep.
Oh, I just can't.
Teddy, this always happens.
I
for some
can't see
reason.
him.
Weird. Discord's so weird.
It's okay. Oh, Tyler can't either.
It's a Discord thing. When you
It's a
come
Discord.
when you leave and come
Yeah, I
back,
can't see him.
when you leave and come back, a lot of times it has problems with people's things. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
I'll look with my ears.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go
okay.
ahead.
I don't know if that's how that works, but okay.
Keep your ears looking.
Okay. You guys all had cute picks. I gotta admit, they're all very cute. But we're just come down to me to give the real game of the year. This year was very hard to pick because a lot of games came out that I cared about. As Teddy alluded to, it was like the year of games, and it's like every time a game would come out and I would play it, I'd be like, "Oh, this is definitely my game of the year." And then something else would come out, so it'd be like Resident Evil 4 Remake came out, and I was like, "Oh, this is it." And then like Pikmin 4 came out, and I was like, "Oh, this is it." And Diablo 4 came out, and I was like, "Oh, this is it." But finally, I landed on my game of the year, and my game of the year is Alan Wake 2. It is a game by Remedy, a sequel to, you guessed it, Alan Wake. Who would have thought? And it came, what is this, like 13 years later or some shit? Alan Wake 2 follows up the original Alan Wake, and it also follows up Control, a very popular game also by Remedy. So I feel bad for people that didn't play Control, just jumped from Alan Wake to Alan Wake 2, because you're going to be lost as hell. Alan Wake 2, you control the titular Alan Wake, Who would have thought? And another character, an FBI agent named Saga Anderson. There's a duality concept that I really appreciate with this game, where each character has their own narrative going on, and you can actually switch between them at any time during the game, but they both kind of converge in the end, and they both kind of affect each other's stories in separate ways. The way I played it is that I would jump back and forth chapter to chapter between both of the characters. You can go to like a save spot and jump back and forth whenever you want. You can even play one and then play the other if you wanted to. But it was very cool to go back and forth and sort of see parts of stories in one character's chapter, and then see how it tied into another character's chapter. It was very cool. If you don't know Alan Wake, it is the original was a game about a man named Alan. He goes to a little town up in upstate New York called Bright Falls. It's very Twin Peaks inspired, and it's the original was kind of like a thriller shooter game, similar to their previous game Max Payne, but more thriller horror inspired. The first game wasn't really a horror game though. This game leans straight into being a horror game, and I'm sorry Resident Evil 4 Remake, but this is the best horror game of the year. It's fantastic. There's many moments throughout this game that gave me some really good scares, honestly, and that's hard to do from like a video game. I think the last time I got scared at a video game there was one part in Resident Evil 8, and if you played it, you probably know it. That really got under my skin. But yeah, this game does a really good job of just making you feel uneasy. Also, the narrative's pretty fucking good, and it's not afraid to be silly. I love Remedy because they're not afraid to be silly. They'll put live action elements in their games. They'll put random characters and ideas in their games, carry stuff over. There's a whole area, without spoiling anything, there's a whole area in this game that you fight through during a musical. There's a musical section in this game, and it is amazing. They actually did a rendition of the stuff during the Game Awards because it was so fucking good. Even like they even reference like Max Payne through the main guy from Remedy, Sam Lake, was like the model for Max Payne. He appears as a character named Alex Casey in this game, who is modeled by Sam Lake. It's voiced by the guy who voiced Max Payne. It is basically Max Payne without them actually, without them actually having the rights to Max Payne, because Rockstar owns all that shit. So it's basically them saying, "This is Max Payne. We just can't name him that."
That's great.
Yeah, so this game really is like a culmination of all of Remedy's work, except for that fucking Microsoft one. What was that called? Quantum Shift
Break.
or whatever. Quantum Break. Thank you. Except for that game. That's get that out of here. But everything else is here, and it's graphically it looks fantastic. Even I'm playing on the Series S. Even on the Series S, it looks fantastic, which is something that I can praise them for, because a lot of companies, even Capcom with Resident Evil 4 Remake, I've noticed kind of slap games onto the Series S and was like, it runs, go ahead. But this game actually does look really good, like even on the lesser hardware. I've very much enjoyed it. I'm not done, mainly because I'm playing it with somebody else, and I'm not going to continue playing through the story without them. So I'm like at the very end. But I mean, even at that, I've played a good 18 hours, and for a horror game, that's plenty long, and I have absolutely loved Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, fucking awesome.
I watched a little bit of this. You streamed it, Alex. I enjoyed that. Do you think you'll go back and play it again, maybe on stream sometime, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just at that point it had just come out, and again I don't want to get further than my save game with the other person because I want it to be like a fresh experience. But now that I have gotten further, I would easily go back and stream it again and play it again.
Yeah, no, that I've always really liked the first game. I never beat it because like I've said many times, like I never had like an Xbox for like the longest time, and then by the time I got one, it was like 2013. So of course, it took like a while for me to actually get around to actually owning Alan Wake 1, and of course I've played it before at my friend's place. And the one thing I always liked about that game was that it's basically the closest thing I'll ever get to a Stephen King video game. Yeah. So, because it's like, oh, I wanted a game after like It or The Stand, but it's like, oh no, I can be content with Alan Wake.
Yeah, and the original had a really great story, but the original also I think fell flat in terms of its progression and narrative because there was a lot of development issues with the original, and they wanted to make it like an open world experience, and then they had to cut it down to like a linear experience. And I feel like a lot of those ideas are also realized in Alan Wake 2 because it is an open game. You can freely traverse. There are side quest type things if you want to do them.
Oh, is it like Evil Within 2, kind of?
Sort of, yes.
Okay, because that game is great. I love that one.
And I don't want to spoil anything again. I don't want to spoil the first game or this game, but I will say that the separate characters are located in different places that are very different. Saga Anderson is in Bright Falls, which is the town from the first game, so she can kind of experience the more wooded areas and the like that approach. And then Alan is in this other realm. Don't want to spoil anything. And they get really creative with his locations. That's where the musical is. They get really creative with his locations, and you could be anywhere in his area and open a door and you'll be somewhere else. And Alan, one of the coolest aspects of the two characters is where Saga Anderson is an FBI agent. She has a case board where she can go in and pin different clues to what's going on, and you like sort of have to help her solve what's happening in real time. So like you push pause, she goes into her mind place. That's what she calls it. It's basically an interactive pause screen. Think Fable 3, but good. And you actually pin things to a cork board and sort of like figure it out. Alan, since he's a writer, he has the same thing. You push pause, you go into his thing, but he actually can write to affect what's happening in real time. So you'll be in an area and it'll be a blockage or something, and it'll be like, okay, I see clues that like a cult activity happened here. You go in, Alan writes, okay, then the cultists showed up at the train station, and then you go back, and then bam, it's the world's completely different now. And yeah, and it's very neat to play with those aspects of each of the characters.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, when you mentioned about the interactive pause menu, of course, I know you were making fun of Fable 3, which is funny, but one other game I remember that also had something like that was Terranigma. Like, when you pause the game to access your menu, like, you literally walk around, like to pick up your item. It was kind of interesting. Yeah, so it's kind of cool that game kind of does that, too.
That's what I thought, too, when Alex was playing it. It's something like, I think Yomi in Terranigma is like your partner that travels with you or something.
Yeah.
This was the first game I saw from the next generation that actually made me semi-interested in playing it. Because I did like the first Alan Wake, and I think when I saw Alex play it, it piqued my interest to actually, try it out.
Yeah. And Turbo, you said it's a better horror game than Resident Evil 4, but what about the action? Is it as good as Resident Evil 4? Because what I saw you playing it, and I've seen it looks really good.
That's like, if you're going into any Remedy game, that's the one thing you can depend on, is that the action is going to be good, because they haven't had a game without good. The first two Max Payne, Alan, even like the Quantum Break game, like and of course Control, which was fucking critically acclaimed.
Mm-hmm.
They're fantastic action games. So that's like the one thing you can always depend on with them.
Does it do the flashlight thing again?
Yes, but it's different. The mechanic, they've changed the mechanic, but it's still the same idea where you have to burn the darkness off of people. But you don't have to actually hold it in a focus. You literally just tap a shoulder button and it automatically uses a battery and does it. So it's more of a resource this time than like trying to actually focus and do it. I think they did that because where this one is more of a horror game, it'd be harder to still do that, and then also try not to get killed by the murderer that's trying to throw a big axe at you. So it is better that like it is just like a resource. Like, oh shit, do I have enough batteries to use it this time?
Okay. So basically, you just like when you aim, the flashlight will hurt them or set them up for the shot, but you can run out of the battery. Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's implemented much better than the first game.
Okay.
I feel sad because
I respect that first game. No, you go, Spencer. Go ahead.
My opinion on the whole thing has really been tainted, I think, and not in like a super negative way, but the only game I've played from Remedy was Quantum Break, and it's just like it wasn't bad, but it just wasn't great.
It's like ho hum, you know. It's
Yeah.
like it's not a bad game. It's just like, meh.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, I think when I beat it, I was like, meh. And then now it's like, apparently this is really great, and it's like, oh, I played the wrong one. Whoops.
Yeah, Max Payne 3 has a lot of like really cool shit in it.
No, to be fair, that one was not Remedy. That was
Oh, that wasn't
Starboard.
Remedy? I thought that was.
No, they haven't done Max Payne since 2. Rockstar owns
shit.
all that, so yeah, they were at that time through Alan Wake 1, which they own now, and Quantum Break, which I don't think they own. I don't think they want to. Those two were Microsoft games. So at that time, they were with Microsoft during Max Payne 3's development. So
Okay, well, you know what? That game's still good.
Do you think it's because I played like a chapter or two into the remaster of the first game, and it's cool. I respect it. I probably will continue it, but you think it'd be worth like not finishing the first game and just going straight to 2?
No, because a lot of the characters and stuff from the first game reappear. A lot of the elements. Honestly, like I said, I kind of feel bad for people that didn't play Control because they are not shy from being like one of the first chapters. You see people from the FBC, which is the Federal Bureau of Control, and they're like, "We're here to do this thing," and it's like, I bet people that just jump from 1 to 2 were like, "What? Who the hell are these guys? Like, what are you talking about?"
Oh, play Alan Wake, then play Control, then play
Alan Wake 2. Yeah, and then they're doing
Okay.
Control 2, which I bet Control 2 will stack even further because there's like stuff in Control 1 that's directly tied to Alan Wake. That's like
So you don't need, like, for somebody who doesn't care about stories, though, you don't really need to play it.
Yeah, but if you don't care about stories, why are you playing this?
Yeah, I feel like Alan Wake is a pretty story-heavy game.
Well,
Yeah, it's sort of like The Last of Us. It's like, I don't care about stories. I want to shoot guys. It's like you shouldn't play that game either.
I didn't care about the story in Alan Wake. I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea what was going on, but I still enjoyed it. So
That's kind of went over your head.
I kind of get what
but
you
to be
mean.
honest, I'm a dummy. Movies, sometimes stories are too complex for me. That's why I like Dragon Quest. No offense, but it's simple to follow. It's always bad guy, bad. Go fight him. It's charming, like a grim fairy tale, and like a lot of stories can kind of float over my head. So I kind of just ignore them and just play the game. So it's a testament that it kept me engaged.
I think one of the elements that also made this my game of the year is the fact that I tend to lean towards studios and developers and people that just put themselves into their games, and you can really tell like they're having fun making their games, and like this is their personality. And you know, instead of just like, there's a lot of games I play that I'm like, this just feels like a product. It feels like they were like, we need to make a product.
Yeah.
So
gaming in general.
Remedy's really good about that, and like there's stuff in this game that like just set it over the edge for me, like little things, little details. Like there's a coffee themed amusement park, and you could find commercials for it, and they're live action and they're really bad, but they're really bad on purpose, and I love them. It's like they just two guys had a camera and they were like, let's just make the dumbest shit possible, and somebody might see this in the game.
I remember I was watching someone play Control for a little bit, and there was a cutscene where it was like this. It was like live action, and it was like this like science dude like dancing to this like weird shit, and it was like so like fucking random. It was great. So that's cool that they have like more shit like that. That makes me happy.
I've been wanting that for years, like the live action, like Resident Evil 1. And I think I was watching you play this in certain like cutscenes. They're like the actual actors are playing like FMV videos, right?
Yeah, Remedy loves to mix live action footage.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Games.
Not when it was 23 minutes.
Well, yeah, not Quantum Break. We had to watch a whole episode of a fucking show.
I was streaming that on Twitch way back in the day, and I fell asleep. I was literally asleep on the stream.
Oh my god!
You took a quantum break.
Yeah, I took a. Does quantum mean 15 minutes? Because that's how long mine was.
It's a quantity of time.
Was that the one that was tied into a television show?
Yeah, well, it wasn't tied into it. It was literally in the game. You had to watch the damn.
Yeah, you'd finish a chapter, and then they would have 20 minutes of the characters that you don't care about.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that while they like doing that shit, I feel like that was also probably part Microsoft, because at that time that was like Xbox One launch, and they were like multimedia home center thing with the Xbox One. So I bet part of that was them being like, "Go ahead, make a whole TV show. It'll show how cutting edge we are. We have like the shows that you interact with," and it was no.
Yeah, the Xbox launch where it's like TV.
Yeah. That's why I buy my video game console.
Yeah.
I will say, Alex, it's kind of ironic that your game of the year was Alan Wake, and in Alan Wake 1, your last boss you fight is a tornado, and you're under a tornado watch right now.
The last boss you fight in the main story, there's 2 DLC chapters to Alan Wake 1.
Nerd,
But you didn't
die from your
play those.
tornado. I hope you get caught in it and it sucks you up and you fly into space. Also, I don't know how tornadoes work.
Fly into space and get launched me right into space.
Yeah, tornadoes, I believe, are a portal to outer space. You can correct me on that one if I'm wrong.
Ask Bill Paxton.
I can't.
I can gush. I can gush about this game. This game, I could go on about it all fucking day, but I won't. I'll spare you. I am looking. I didn't watch the whole Game Awards. I was seeing it won like 4 awards, and I'm glad. And it got nominated for a shit ton.
Yeah,
Gayest game.
Yeah, gayest game. Alan Wake 2.
It was the only one nominated, and it got the award for gayest game ever made. All right. Well, I think that's it. Teddy is muted, I believe, but that should be it for the episode. Right? We're done?
For the
Yeah,
awards,
I think so. Unless anyone wants to mention like something real quick.
I
don't got anything.
I mean,
Shoe for the NES.
Wait, what?
I'm saying nothing.
Okay. I was gonna say like another game like I could have mentioned for my favorite, but the thing is it's related to the other game that I talked about before. But I actually beat the second AI Somnian Files game, and I'm just like I don't want to talk about that again. So you know that's another fucking phenomenal game with a great story. Loved it. And then what?
I was gonna say I almost did Yakuza Kiwami because I beat that this year.
Good pick. Yeah,
I'm halfway through Kiwami 2 because I'm on my Yakuza adventure right now.
Nice.
And I really like Kiwami 1, but I was like, I don't wanna wait to talk about Alan Wake 2 later on. I'm gonna talk about it now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And also another game I beat this year for the first time that I thought about mentioning, but I'm just like, we already have one person who can talk your ear off about that, and that's Painkiller Black Edition. Probably know what I'm talking about.
He's not
here.
here.
If he was here, it probably would be his pick, yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, we already have one person who can talk your ear off about it, so yeah, it'll be fine. But I'll talk about that in my own video.
So is Kiwami a remake of the first Yakuza?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian, Kiwami is Japanese for complete shit. So if you wanted to try that,
fighting words.
you could try it out.
Oh, Spencer the rascal. Such a rascal.
He's from the rival faction. He's from the Chinese mafia.
The delightful pedophile who likes to say mean things about people.
Oh man.
There are 2
this
games.
mustache.
Moving on.
This mustache is only for Wario month.
Mustache too.
Spencer, could you keep that mustache and then could you recommend me an IPA?
Yeah.
It looks like you would know what a good IPA is with that mustache.
IPAs are so fucking gross. I don't know.
Pretty bad.
Oh.
I want to say one more thing before we leave.
Okay, Brian.
In these times we live in, I know everything's stressful. You know, the news is terrible. Everybody's bickering at each other. We always have video games to come and escape to.
Hell yeah. I'm grateful for it.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, we're very blessed when our biggest problems are we have too many good video games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was like this year I was like, I just got it. I was like, I didn't get to play Mortal Kombat 1. Oh shit, it's like
it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's too many games.
Yeah, there's a lot of games that I know I didn't even get around to.
They'll still be there. You can play.
Oh,
them
yeah.
when you're 40 or 50
Or when
Yeah.
you're how old?
when
Brian?
you're our age.
When
or
you're
50.
you're 50.
88.
I'll get to Xbox One stuff when I'm in my 50s. It'll be there.
Xbox One.
You're late 150s.
You're 150.
Yeah.
Brian streams Gears of War 5.
This is my first time playing it.
I didn't play the other 4, so I don't know what's happening.
Not here for the story.
Did
I'm
I
here for
play
the
this?
time.
I don't remember.
I did almost pick a new game for my Game of the Year and almost won. But,
Ooh, what was it? Mario Wonder?
no. That's good, though, but I almost
I
picked
figured-
Oh, whoop.
Sorry, go ahead.
I almost picked Octopath Traveler 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that one was a good one.
I almost picked Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Nobody picked WarioWare, I see.
I have Smooth.
Nobody's played it yet. This is my
I
Christmas list.
wanted to play, yeah.
I'm getting it sometime this month with
Yeah.
Christmas money. So,
That's a game you need people to play with to be really get the enjoyment out of.
sure.
There are two
Sit in
games
my-
I played twice this
Sit in
year.
my-
One is Super Castlevania
Oh, hell yeah. Yep.
That's
and
Mm.
Sonic 3D Blast.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
That's a
nice.
good
Game of the year.
Wow.
Can we just
I
collectively
figured
agree?
it'd be kind of hard
No Spinball?
saying Sonic 3D Blast is Game of the Year.
I mean,
But,
I like Spin Blast, or not Spin Blast, 3D
3D
Blast. Yeah.
yeah,
Although I like the Saturn version, but you know.
me too.
I like 3D ass.
Versus 2D. You're not
Yeah.
into the sprites?
No, 3D ass. That's why I don't care about Octopath Traveler. Get out of here.
2D
we
HD
got-
asses.
Do you want to play a 3D Wario game?
Yeah.
Uh,
Wario World.
Wario World.
3D ass.
So we got to see Leo's
Treasure knew what's up.
doggy. We got to see Leo's doggy here. Do we get to see?
I see BioPhoenix cat.
That was
right
Leo,
Oh,
you
shit.
freak.
Yeah, my cat's actually there.
Oh.
Yeah, like you normally never see her because
Oh,
like
yeah.
most of my time, you know, not like recording when she's around, but yeah, no, she's climbing up on shit.
I don't
Let's
live
go.
by
What's her
him.
name? What's her name?
Willow. She's 12 years old, I think. She's like 12 or 13, so she's really old.
Oh.
After the movie, Willow?
Oh, well, I wasn't thinking about the movie. It was just because, you know, willow trees, and she's
Okay.
like kind of like fall colored. Yeah, that's why we named her that. But that is funny though, the movie with Val
love that
Kilmer.
I thought maybe you
You're
like to whip
great.
your hair back and forth. Willow Smith.
Let's see. So, Bio, your game was a bit of a close choice. I think Alex, your game was a close choice because it kept on changing. And Teddy, was yours with Arceus? Like what? So I know the Resident Evil 4 pickers and myself, our games were clear standouts. What about everyone else? Was it close choice or clear winner?
Like actually winning the Game Awards?
Yeah, picking one for today. It's like, oh yeah, this I know this is my
I
favorite
think it
game.
would be nominated, but I don't know. I really wanted to play the Alan Wake games, so I guess Alan Wake would definitely be close to like, something I would probably get. But
Yeah, that's a game we usually play, right? Like which pick would you pick?
yeah.
Whose choice? Well, that's
Yeah.
another game. But I think what Leo's asking is like, were yours like easy choices?
Yeah, basically. I don't know. I probably
Oh.
phrased it poorly.
I don't think.
No, you Rich fine.
Yeah, you didn't phrase it badly, but I don't think Bomber Cyberpunk would have been even nominated because it's kind of, it's not really like a lot of the other games, which are like these really big, really expansive games. It definitely felt like something from like a product of
Dreamcast game.
2000 yeah, the Dreamcast like Y2K era
Yep.
gaming.
Yeah, no, but my pick was definitely something kind of like that too. Like, you know, like very simple, no crazy story or anything. Just, you know, just pick up, you play, and, you know, you have fun.
And that's mostly a product of or a symptom of the games that you played this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of like other interesting stuff at play. Like I mentioned earlier, like I beat AI Somnian Files 2, and that's a
Right.
story-driven game like entirely, and I love that. But like I already said, I didn't want to talk about it because I mentioned it like another button mapper year. So plus, it's a sequel to a game that I'm pretty sure most people here haven't even played. So I don't want to like spoil anything.
Mm.
I have it. I want to play the first
I
one.
also
Anyway.
I have it too on my Steam.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass, which is surprising because I was like, wow, that game's on Game Pass. Like, okay, like cool, like. All the brokies can play it.
Yeah, and you guys mentioning Alan Wake 2 a lot. I'll just so you know, I'm gonna link a bundle that I saw if anyone wants to play Control. Since Alex was mentioning, it might help if you play Control before Alan Wake 2. So I'll just throw that sale in the chat for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take control over your life.
Thanks. Nice.
Check out the bundle.
Previous years we've played a game where we go around and you say which of the other people's pick you would want to play.
Mm.
So
yeah, sure, let's do it.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who wants to go
Do
first?
we remember the same order that we did our Game of the Year awards in?
I don't remember. Daniel,
It was
you go
Daniel
first. Daniel.
first,
Started,
and
and
it
he's
was me,
gone. Yeah.
and then it was.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah.
Let's do
Okay.
it. Bio goes first.
So Bio's first.
All right. If I had to play a game that if someone mentioned that I haven't tried yet, I would say like the most like top priority one probably would be Baldur's Gate 3, just because like I was mentioning earlier, like I have like friends that also really like that game, and like you said, it's a game that's good to play with friends, and yeah, I think it would be fun just to create some characters and just go on an adventure and shit. So yeah, that's my pick.
Nice. Yeah, oh man, I know once I start Baldur's Gate 3, it's going to be a game that I can't put down, but I wasn't as interested in the Resident Evil 4 remake prior to you guys talking about it today, and now I think I want to play that game the most. Because like with you guys, when I played the original on the GameCube, it was almost instantly my favorite GameCube game, and I played it twice over or 3 times over, whatever it was, to get like the Thompson in the original game. And the thing that you guys said that's really sticking out is that it felt like a new experience. So it's like, usually I can't justify a remake, not even purchasing it, but I think in this case, it'd be worth it.
Yeah, I can say as someone who's like literally just like started playing it and got to the castle section, it's really good.
I'd probably go with what you guys have picked. I'm thinking Alan Wake 2, but I'd have to play Alan Wake 1 first, so that's on my bucket list, and I have a copy of that. I'm going to play it right now, and then I guess I'll look into that other one. What is it called? The other Remedy one?
Control.
Control.
Yeah, Control. Yeah, but it sounds really interesting from what you guys are saying. What Alex talked about, Alan Wake 2 sounds like a really fun, trippy game, and I'm like a fan of Twin Peaks and of course Resident Evil and horror games. So I'm thinking that's the one I would want to play.
And Brian?
Well, I, of all the games that you fine gentlemen have said, I'm interested in. I'd play all of them if I could, but
yeah,
not an option. Pick one.
Like Tears of the Kingdom, I want to get to, but I played so much Breath of the Wild, I just wasn't ready for it right now. So it'll be there, like I said, for me whenever I feel like playing Breath of the Wild again. I'll just get Tears of the Kingdom. Alan Wake is interesting because I like the first one so much, but I don't have a way to play it, so it's not that. Pokemon's interesting because I wasn't the biggest fan of the one I played, but this is different enough that I'd like to give it another try. So maybe that. And Air Twizzler, I mean, I think I might be Air Twister, was it?
Air Twizzler?
I think it's Air Twizzler.
Twizzlers. I was about to call it Nibble Twister, so better than me.
And Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk looks beautiful. I was amazed when I saw. I didn't because at first I thought you said Cyberpunk, and I thought maybe it was a spin-off of Cyberpunk. But I had to look it up, and it blew me away how it looked. So that's up there. Resident Evil 4, I want to play but I kind of want to play the Wii version, which I have. I only played the GameCube and PC. I want to play the Wii first, and then eventually, like I said, it'll still be there. I'll play the remake someday. Baldur's Gate 3, I've never been into Western RPGs. That's why I was curious if it was turn-based or not. But and I don't have friends to play with, so it would be lost on me.
Play with us.
Oh yeah, it doesn't if it has online. Yeah,
it does. Yeah.
So I guess it would come down. I'm gonna the tiebreaker here between Air Twizzlers and
call it that now,
and Cyberpunk, because I like the look of it. It was gonna be because Bio he's recommended 2 games to me to play already that I actually absolutely loved. So
I'm glad to hear that.
So I'm gonna go with Air Twizzler.
Air Twizzlers.
Air Twizzlers.
Just eating those licorice, baby.
DZ.
All right. I was thinking maybe Air Twister, but I've always wanted to play Alan Wake, like I mentioned before. I didn't have a 360 at the time, so I don't know. Maybe now I have a chance to actually play it because it's online. So I'll play through those games, and especially Alan Wake 2, because that one it looks really good. But yeah, I'm gonna play through the other ones before I play that one. So
There's a friggin' backlog for the backlog. It's
I know
brutal.
it just caused a backlog, but
Yeah.
I'm really interested in the story because I think I saw a playthrough of it years ago, but I just don't remember anything of it. And
Yeah. Alan Wake, you know what? It's kind of interesting hearing all this praise for 2, and I'm glad, Alex, that you clarified that this developer puts more into their gameplay aspect, because I really confused all these games, like Alan Wake 1 coming out around the same time, or close enough to like Heavy Rain, and we were getting the first wave of story games, the first wave of cinema games. So I just had the complete wrong impression of Alan Wake. I was like,
no, I wouldn't let David Cage anywhere near Remedy. It'd be like, push the stick upward to pick up your flashlight, and then tell your wife you love her, and then walk down the street.
There'd probably be an actual mini game where you have to write the story using the analog stick. Like you have to write the whole chapter.
Cool.
Teddy, how about you?
I think the most immediate one to me that's like, oh yeah, I'd play that next year is Baldur's Gate 3. Just because it sounds like it would be fun to play online co-op, even though I can't do split screen on my Xbox. Boo-hoo. Tears of the Kingdom, I mean, it's just, I'm not even done with Breath of the Wild. I don't know. I'll go back to it. So it's like that would be a second choice, but realistically, I can't see myself finishing Breath of the Wild and then being ready to jump into the next Zelda. So it's like years away.
Mm-hmm.
Years for tears.
I feel the same way. Like I want to get into Tears, but I know once I go in, there's no going back, and that's going to be a long chunk of my life.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
Spencer?
I would do Alan Wake 2, but I would have a large commitment behind it. So
map out coming soon. Just kidding.
Thank you.
I'm actually going to go with Arceus because I haven't played any Pokemon past the Sword and Shield, and no, actually that's a lie. I played the fucking Gen 4 remakes, but do those count? They're not barely even games.
you haven't played any Pokemon past Sword and Shield, so you're going to play the one that came out after Sword and Shield.
What?
I
haven't played it.
Arceus came out after Sword and Shield. It was the next one.
No, the remakes, the Gen 4 remakes did it, then that one. So technically, I played the Gen 4 remakes.
Okay, if you're looking at it that way,
they're close enough.
But I don't count those because they're dog shit.
But you did play those too.
Yeah, but they're dog shit. Arceus though, yeah, that's my pick. I just Pokemon. They were doing like a thing where they were like for a minute there, they were like 1 a year, and then like that year they were like 2 a year, and I was like, guys, I can't do this. So, and I played the wet dog shit one for the map out instead of Arceus. Whoops.
Wet dog shit one. Which one's
Yeah, the Diamond and Pearl remakes are the laziest goddamn thing. Like, and Teddy, I'm not trying to bring up your opinion here, but like I've heard Teddy talk about how much he didn't care for the art style and like Link's Awakening, like that remake. That remake makes this this remake makes Link's Awakening look fucking beautiful because the Gen 4 remakes look absolutely terrible for a Switch game. It looks like the least effort possible.
I didn't hate it as much as you did, but I am looking forward to Pokemon Dog Shit and Cat Piss. Those two will offer.
Which one would you pick? Dog Shit or Cat Piss?
I think I would do Dog Shit because Teddy said Cat Piss, so we could trade our shitty Pokemon.
I'm gonna wait for the third SKU. The third SKU.
Oh yeah,
Vomit.
Yeah, which Pokemon Vomit.
Brown and
Bird Pellets.
Pokemon Brown and Dark Yellow.
Yeah.
Fish food.
Yeah.
I'd say in
water.
real life, you don't want cat piss. Cat takes forever to go away. If you ever like dog shit, you can just clean up.
The fuck are you talking about, Brian?
That's the strongest attack, Brian. That's how that works. You want status effects.
Yeah, that's the legendary for Cat Piss. The Cat Piss legendary has the best attack. Spray.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good debuff.
You guys know Pokemon better. I'll trust you.
I honestly would have picked Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, but I'm not ready for either one of those in the slightest. And I won't be for like 10 years.
You see, and that's where something like Brian's game is a really nice appetizer or palate cleanser. It's like, I just want to slip a game in really quickly. Yeah. I saw on his YouTube video, it looked like it was just over an hour. Easy.
Well, it's an hour after you play it 20
Sure.
times.
Right. Well, I don't mind using Game Genie or whatever the Sega equivalent is.
I think there's probably codes for unlimited continues for Game Genie.
Yeah, there you go.
Genesis next.
Rocket on it. Yeah.
I couldn't pick Rocket Knight because I've already played Rocket Knight.
Yes.
Oh, good. Oh.
Is it on any of those compilations where you can rewind it?
No, unfortunately, like I said, Mommy hasn't put it out. The only way you can play it is through means.
Well, you can play the Rocket Knight Pachinko. I played that one. It was pretty good.
Oh, did you play that one?
Like the Castlevania Pachinko.
Not as good as Castlevania, but it was pretty good.
I think you're joking.
30 hours into it.
Yeah, I put 30 hours into it for sure, dude.
God, you must have lost a lot of money out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sunk a lot of time.
Can you tell us how to play Pachinko?
Pachink?
I think
you
it's
just put the coin in and the balls fall.
Yeah.
It's just gravity.
I don't play it.
Is it like Plinko from Price is Right?
Yeah, it is.
Kinda,
exactly
yeah.
like that.
Exactly.
Okay.
It is that.
You can
It's,
make
that
one-
Pachinko is Plinko in Japanese.
It's
We can make
Lucky
one
Hit
video
in,
game
in
Pachinko.
Shenmue,
Yeah, you lucky hit. That's better.
huh?
Don't remind me. Shenmue was the worst experience I've had.
What were
in
you?
my life.
What were you gonna say, Teddy?
Wow, that's hard.
I want to hear Spencer rant about Shenmue now.
No, that game is so fucking dumb. Same with
Shenmue
Does
Pachinko?
anyone else like it? Alex likes it, right?
I like
Oh, of course I like it. I
like the
fucking
vibe.
say,
Oh yeah, all right.
Alex
you
likes
guys like it,
saying-
yeah.
I respect it. I just I
Yeah.
just have a hard time actually playing it like a normal person.
like a normal video game. Yeah, Alex likes a lot of shit like Yakuza. Yakuza is literally the most boring game I've ever fucking played.
No,
It's
okay,
What are you talking about? dude?
literal.
Yeah.
It's literally like a scoop of garbage. Like it's just like eating garbage the whole time. I played it for like 5 hours, and I just wanted to rip my eyes out of my sockets.
You do like an
Okay.
early 2000s game reviewer review of it.
What would that be like?
You just got to use a lot of profanity and yell.
Oh, it's fuck shit. Suck.
It sucks.
This is the shittiest game I ever played.
No, it is-
if Yakuza is the shittiest game you ever played,
Yeah.
you're having a
Life's
good
been
life.
good.
Oh, we
yeah.
live in a good
Yeah.
world.
I was gonna say, what would happen if you played Eternal Quest on PS2?
Burn
God.
Fallout.
You might like it.
Or Kupasaning.
Keep awesome. Oh, that's a Terry thing.
Well, actually, it's me, Terry, and Bello Station. It's our thing.
Oh,
But
it's all your guys' thing? I just remember Terry bringing it up, and he's like, I think Terry just hates Mexican people. He's like, isn't this stupid? It's like, no, he's a Mexican guy. Like, what's your fucking problem? Like, isn't this guy an idiot? Like, no.
Actually, he's not Mexican. He's from Spain.
Oh my God, they're the fucking same. Get out of here.
Oh my God.
Shit.
This is insane.
Spencer, you'll be happy to know I did play another Metal Gear this year.
What did you
Oh,
play?
the NES ones or the
No, the
MSX
Game
one?
Boy
Oh,
Color one.
that doesn't count.
Oh yeah, you did play the. No, that one counts.
No, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
Ghost Rebel's good.
Go play.
Yeah, it counts.
Go play
was-
2,
yeah.
3, or 4, or maybe V.
Well, I have 3.
Just-
I'm gonna play.
Actually, just jump to 4. Jump to
Jump
4.
straight to 4
it
and
for me.
watch your brain leak out of your nose.
Yeah, but I wanted to tell you that. I didn't get to tell you that last time.
Yeah. Go straight from Metal Gear Solid 1 to watching Revolver Ocelot point at people with his fingers, and I'm sure your brain will just be really
Bam,
happy
bam.
about it.
That scene.
Well, you went from 1 to the Game Boy, right?
Solid to the Game Boy Color one. Yeah.
Which
That
is
one's not
also
even.
solid, but-
That one's not even canon, is it? Is Ghost Babel?
No, I think it takes
No.
place.
Okay, so then
between-
yeah, it doesn't fucking count. Go play a game that counts.
I will say the bosses were
cares?
better in the Game Boy one than the.
No,
cares
get
about the Metal
out
Gear
of here.
canon?
Get out of here, Brian. You sound like you sound
Overall,
foolish.
Overall, I enjoyed the Game Boy
Who-
one more, but I still didn't like.
How did you get out of your retirement home? Somebody wheel you back because you need to take your meds. You're off the chain.
Brian, do you have Gumshoe on the shelf?
It's in the closet.
Oh, you put Gumshoe in the
I-
closet.
Nobody
they're-
puts Gumshoe in the closet.
That's a fun game. Though. For those who don't know, Gumshoe is a platformer where you use a light.
Don't explain it. It's funnier if we don't explain it.
Oh, I want to
Thank
know
you.
about Gumshoe.
No. You know.
Yes.
It's a Nintendo first-party title.
Yeah, it's like the black box
Slipping it
game
in.
that nobody knows.
It's so hard. It's fun.
Slipping in facts without being detected. Brian alert.
That Gumshoe. Put it on the
Brian,
console.
Brian, you just have to not talk about NES for the rest of the call.
Sure.
You do that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes it is.
Super Nintendo it is. Genesis it is.
I mean, you got plenty of games on there.
Well, time to pick my second out of 84 titles this year.
Gumshoe too.
Gumshoe 2, The Search for More Gum.
I got gum on my shoe. That's the game. Gumshoe.
How'd it work? You scrape the gum off. I feel like we're playing.
I'm looking at
War.
Did it work?
I'm looking at the reception for Alan Wake 2, and it's like everybody's giving it 8s and 9s, and goddamn Game Informer is like 7.75. Just give it an 8.
It doesn't matter.
Shut up!
It don't matter.
Yeah,
But they're just being pricks.
Don't
If
worry
you
about
like
it.
the game, who cares? I like
Yeah.
Paper Mario Color Sticker Star. And you don't see
It was like
that game
8s,
was-
9s, 10s, and then Game Informer is like, oh no, it's 7.75. That's our score. Like, what? Shut up.
We all
0.75.
have things we like that everybody reviews badly. I think it doesn't mean.
Dude, one
That's
of my
not a bad
all-time favorite
review,
games
it's
got
just
a
an
5
annoying
out of
one.
10. Like, come on.
That's not a bad review. It's just an annoying one. 0.75. Just
The number is arbitrary. It's just the words that they say like that matter. 'Cause they give the 7.75 and then they say like one bad thing.
yeah, because
They'll
that's my
do that
favorite
for
thing.
9
was-
as well.
This year was IGN. IGN gave I think it was Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales got like 8s or 9s or something, I forget. And then they were like the review for Spider-Man 2 this year was like phenomenal, better than the first game, better than Miles Morales, and then they gave it a lower score than both of those games. Which is like, this means nothing.
Dude, some people on their Steam reviews, they'll like break down all the categories and they'll go 4 out of 5 for visuals, 4.5 for story, 5 for gameplay, and then overall score 3 out of 5. It's like,
Yeah.
what happened? Where did that come from?
I mean, even games you like, you have stuff in it that sometimes you hate or don't hate, but just don't really gel with you.
Intangibles in a game too, I guess. It matters to me.
Yeah. Is there really a game that's perfect besides Super Mario Brothers 2?
Besides Chrono Trigger?
No. Alex said I couldn't talk about NES.
No NES games, especially not shitty ones like that. Please.
He was talking about the All Stars version, so I think he's okay.
You know what? I beat Mario 1 All Stars today before I started podcasting.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I was doing that for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a nice short game you can blast through.
I even did the second run. I was like, whatever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing
Guys,
to brag
I can
about.
give you a watermelon emoji. Isn't that cool?
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was getting hungry and thirsty.
Do you guys eat the seeds on watermelon, or do you spit them out?
Spit
them out.
Eat all this watermelon. Come on. Oh, no.
I mean, I understand. Sometimes
Give me the fucking watermelon.
Sometimes you're like, I gotta go through all this work to spit out these seeds. You know? I don't wanna do that.
Yes, more.
You just swallow the seeds, Brian?
What's the point of this?
I do, yeah. I've been
What other fruit can you hit us with?
That's all I got. I pushed this 1,000 times. It's still going up. There
Alex is becoming
all
like
I
a
got.
TikTok streamer or something.
What are you doing?
I give you a fork and a knife.
Watermelon. Fork. Knife.
Oh, I got this like stupid emoji.
Paste.
Teddy, can you
face.
can you do the thing where it
Close it out.
There we
The
go.
music's playing.
the stops?
I get some Rocky music in the back.
that what they
Formed
play at a
by
game
Button
show?
Mapper guest. Yeah.
Alex eating fruit.
Yeah, fantastic. You guys can hit the stop button. And
All right. Well.
Hey y'all, don't forget to subscribe to them button mappers.